Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's your boy, Delightful Kiss Boy, and today I'm putting together a horror movie tier list. I love horror movies, and I wanted to put one together for the spooky season. You know, it's October 1st when I'm recording this, so I was like, you know what? Let me give some people some good movies to watch and tell them maybe what to avoid as well. Now, I tried to do this earlier with like a tier list off of tiermaker.com, but there was so much shit that I hadn't seen. I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna make my own, alright? Of just movies that I'm sure that I've seen, alright? Now, some of them I haven't seen in a long time, so I can't really speak on them too much, but I'm gonna try to do my best to rank all of them, so maybe you guys will get some, maybe you'll hear some deep cuts you haven't heard of before, and you'll be like, ooh, I want to watch that. But also, people can get mad at me for my whack opinions. Now, it's something I gotta say up front. I definitely, this is my opinion. I have preferences. There's going to be some shit on here that you probably love that I'm going to be like, this is kind of mid or even trash. So, be prepared to yell at me in the comments. It'll be great. I'm not one of those people that's like, don't get pissed off. Get pissed off. It's fun. All right? Let me know how wrong I am. But anyway, let's go through it. I've got all of these movies here, and so... like I said, there's probably more that I'm not remembering, but let's just get into it. Alright, so first of all, this is in no particular order, by the way. It's whatever the fucking website chose to put in order. We have 10 Cloverfield Lane. Now, I saw this one in college. I saw it in theaters, went with some friends, and it was pretty good. I mean, it had John Goodman in it, was amazing, as always. He plays like a deranged man keeping... people hostage in a bunker, basically, because he's saying the world is ending outside. And it has some interesting twists and turns. So I enjoyed this one quite a bit, but I wouldn't put it quite in A tier. So let me just go over like the tiers, by the way. So I mean, S tier is like best of the best, like my favorites, okay? A tier is really good, like I love these movies. B is, pretty good, kind of above average sort of a thing. C is like, it's all right, it's kind of just middle of the road. D is pretty bad, not a fan, didn't think it was good. And F is absolute fucking dog shit, all right? So there you go. So I would put 10 Cloverfield Lane in B tier, solid B tier entry for me. It was pretty good. I wouldn't say I loved it, but I liked it quite a bit, and I thought it was a fun one. Thought the performances were really good. I thought the twists were good. Goes in B tier. All right, here we got 28 Days Later, and right off the bat, this might be pissing some people off because I'm not the biggest, zombie movie guy, okay? And I haven't seen this one in a long time. There's some iconic shit in it. I love that, was it Home in a Heartbeat or whatever that song is, the main song that plays through it. Love that stuff. I have to rewatch this one, to be honest. I remember it being good, all right? I can tell you it was good, but I'm not putting it in A tier because I just remember it was, pretty good. But I'll watch it again, and maybe I'll revise my positioning, but for me, 28 Days Later is going in B tier. Sorry, zombie movie fans. I honestly haven't seen a lot of zombie movies. It's usually not my cup of tea. Zombie movies, werewolf movies, and vampire movies I'm usually not that into. Although I want to see an American Werewolf in London. I have heard that's really good, and I haven't seen it. So there you go. But anyway, 28 Days Later goes in B tier for me personally. And I have seen 28 Weeks Later, and I barely remember it, but I remember it being not quite as good as 28 Days Later, and so it's probably a C tier entry from me, but I know I have seen it. I just can barely remember it. All right, In the Mouth of Madness is, I think it was a John Carpenter movie, right? But I watched it relatively recently, and it's kind of like an eldritch horror, kind of like madness sort of a movie that has to do with blurring reality with this author who kind of ends up in his own story, which was an interesting concept, and it was fun, but I don't think it was anything special, to be honest. I was like, okay, yeah, it's a fine movie. I didn't regret watching it, but it wasn't super memorable to me, and I just thought it was okay, so it's going to go in C tier for me. This is Birdemic, Shock and Terror, which I have unfortunately seen, and it is absolute dog shit. There's a JonTron video you can watch on YouTube if you haven't heard of this classic here, but it is terrible. It is it's incomprehensibly bad. It's not like, the other thing too is like sometimes movies are so bad they're good. This one is boring as fuck. Now it's worth watching just like if you're morbidly curious, but it is terrible. It's god awful. So that goes straight into F tier. Okay. Next we have The Visit, which was an M. Night Shyamalan movie that I saw, I think in high school. Or maybe college, I can't remember. But I went and saw it with some friends. It's about these kids who go to visit their grandparents that they haven't seen in either a long time or potentially ever or something. And turns out it's not their grandparents. Plot twist, the Shyamalan twist. And I think I remember liking this one okay, but it wasn't like anything special. So I think this is a solid C tier entry, not great, not the worst, so it just goes in C tier. It's like, all right, that's fine. All right, here we get The Shining, which is, obviously a classic horror movie, and for me, I'm no exception. I absolutely love The Shining. I think it's great. Interestingly enough, my mom does not like the Kubrick adaptation of The Shining, because she is a Stephen King fan, and she loves the book, and she liked there's like a mini series that was adapted that was more faithful to the book. But me personally, I don't give a fuck. I think that whatever the fuck Kubrick did to change the story was great. And this movie is so good. I mean, I'm sure most of you have seen The Shining, but if you haven't, you really got to go and watch it. It's incredible, in my opinion. It's not like, if you've seen a lot of horror movies now, like this is the one thing, you're going to see that my list kind of skews new for horror movies, all right? It's because horror movies generally, from what I've seen, don't age very well, all right? I'll get into that later. But, just things that people find scary change over time, and when things end up getting done to death, it really kind of takes the wind out of the sails of a lot of these older movies, So basically it'll be like, a movie's really good, and then it becomes a trope, and then you go back to revisit the original, and it's like, all right, this is pretty boring, right? So, The Shining isn't the scariest movie, but it is amazing. It's really well done. So it's like, those are the horror movies, in my opinion, that are like, that are timeless classics, are the ones that like have the horror elements, but have other shit outside of the horror that make them amazing. And I think that The Shining is one of the best in that regard. All right, The Orphanage. I know I have seen this movie, but I don't remember anything about it because I was at a lake house with a bunch of people, and we decided to put it on because my friend, she really liked horror movies, and I don't know, we were like, oh, let's just put on The Orphanage or something. It was on in the background, and I was super distracted because I was just trying to, make some moves on some of the, what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. There was shenanigans going on. All right, so I don't remember what the hell happened in this movie, but I remember it being okay. So it's probably better than I'm remembering it, but I was distracted by some females around me. All right, so there you go. C tier. All right. 1408. I have definitely seen this movie a long time ago, and I don't remember it super well, but I remember not being that impressed with it. Like, I thought the concept was pretty cool. So 1408, it's like there's a hotel and there's a room that they don't rent out to people because it's like cursed, and then this author or something wants to go in and stay there because he thinks they're full of shit. And so he goes in, and then obviously horrible things happen. So the concept sounds pretty cool. Like, I was like, oh, I'm on board with that. That sounds pretty sick. But the movie itself was kind of dog shit, so it goes in D tier for me. Next, we have Nightmare on Elm Street, which is, one of the classic slasher movies, Wes Craven. And this one has Johnny Depp in it. I think he gets blended in a bed, which is kind of amazing. That was a great scene. I like this movie quite a bit, actually. I think Nightmare on Elm Street I think like compared to a lot of the older slasher movies, I think it holds up really well. Because there's a lot of, once again, kind of interesting things going on outside of just having a slasher villain. Like the whole dream aspect of it is pretty cool. And it's like, that is creepier than, like, for me, a Jason or, Michael Myers, right? The fact that it's like, you're in bed, which is kind of the area where you're most vulnerable, and you can, like, reach through walls and be in your dreams. Pretty good stuff. So I like Nightmare on Elm Street. I think it goes it's a solid B tier entry for me. It's not one of my favorites, but I think it's pretty good. All right, next we have A Quiet Place, which is the John Krasinski, movie about a bunch of aliens that don't like noise. It's kind of like the Grinch, all that noise, and they kill the shit out of anybody who makes any noise. So everybody has to communicate through sign language and shit and can't make any noise or else they'll get found by a bunch of giant insectoids and yada yada yada. I remember it being, I saw this in theaters and I liked it. I thought it was good. I didn't think it was like amazing, but I liked it. I mean, it's a fun one. It's a thrilling one. I personally wasn't like blown away with it. I know it got like really good reviews. So a lot of people would probably put it in an A tier. For me personally, it was just kind of a B tier though. I'm like, yeah, it's good. I like this one quite a bit, but not quite in my, really good or favorite horror movies category. It's also kind of more of a thriller. I mean, it is a horror movie though, but for me personally, I'm like, I don't really think of it as a spooky movie, All right, then we have A Quiet Place Part 2, which is just fine. I don't know. I barely remember anything about it. I think it has, the main thing I remember is it has the dude from fucking Peaky Blinders in it, and Oppenheimer. I don't remember what the hell he did. I think he was like a friend of the family or something that they end up meeting up with or something. I have no idea. They try to go to an island. Who gives a shit? I don't know. It was C tier. It was fine. It's forgettable, so it goes in C tier. All right, next we have Alien, which is an all-time classic. It's the Ridley Scott movie. It's got, the xenomorph. Super influential. Incredible stuff. So it definitely goes in at least A tier for me because I think it's a great movie. And it might even go in S tier as being one of the all-time greats. I'm just trying to think about like me personally. Like I really do like this movie a lot. It's usually like my go-to Halloween movie, but that shouldn't be like the metric. You know what? I think Alien deserves to go in S tier. I love this movie. I think it's awesome. It has a lot of like, suspense. The monster design is amazing. I think the effects hold up for the most part too, because they're practical effects, so they're kind of timeless in that way. And I think it's got to go in S tier for me. Love Alien. It's a great one. All right, next we got American Psycho, which I looked up and I was kind of surprised to see that it's labeled a horror movie. I mean, I get it. Like, there's horrific things that happen in the movie in a certain way. But to me, I think of it more as kind of like a dark comedy, like a parody kind of a movie of like American finance bro culture, They weren't really called finance bros back then, but like Wall Street people, what I'm talking about? But it is labeled a horror movie technically, so I was like, all right, I'll slap it on the list. But this is a great movie. I love it a lot. I wouldn't say it's one of the best, especially because, this is a horror movie tier list, and I don't think it's like the spookiest shit, But it's definitely worthy of A tier, in my opinion, because it's a great movie. There's a lot of iconic moments, quotable lines, excellent stuff. Like I said, though, I mean, all the shit that I remember it for is the stuff outside of any of the horror elements of the movie. So, in any case, definitely worth checking out if you haven't seen it. It's a lot of fun. All right, next. Oh, I forgot. I should have added Psycho to this list, but I forgot. Psycho would go in A tier. Just remember that. So Psycho is the Hitchcock movie. An all-time classic. I think that one holds up pretty well. I mean, it's not quite as scary as it was back in the day, but like Hitchcock movies have aged pretty damn well because of the cinematography, etc. So just imagine there's a little extra thing here for Psycho, okay? All right, so next we've got Annabelle Comes Home, which is a movie that I unfortunately saw in theaters. because one of my friends wanted to see it. And so we saw it, and I don't think she liked it either. It was pretty bad. This is the only Annabelle movie that I've seen. You know, it's a Conjuring spin-off movie. And this is one where Annabelle torments a bunch of babysitters or some shit. It was certified D-tier material. It was not very good. It's not like the worst of the worst. Like, it's not on the level of fucking Birdemic, you know, but it is pretty bad. So that's a solid D-tier entry, in my opinion. All right, next we got Army of Darkness, which is not even really a horror movie. It's more just kind of like a fantasy comedy movie. It's kind of like a dark comedy. But I put it in because it's part of the Evil Dead series of movies. And I mean, you know, it's a continuation, right? So anyway, it's by Sam Raimi, you know, and so he did Evil Dead 2, and then Army of Darkness. And, Army of Darkness, for me, it's just fine. It's kind of mid, to be honest, all right? I went back and I watched it in college, and it's fine. I don't think it's as funny as I remembered it being when I saw it again. I was just kind of like, it's okay. So for me personally, Army of Darkness goes in C tier, and, you know, once again, it's like not even an official horror movie, in my opinion. I don't know. So I'll get to the other Evil Dead movies, you know, so, don't hold your breath about, just wait to see my opinion about the other Evil Dead movies, and it'll make more sense, okay? But Army of Darkness, C tier. All right, next we got Barbarian, which is a movie I like quite a bit. It's got a lot of twists and turns. It's a very fun one. It's by Zach Krieger, one of the dudes from The Whitest Kids You Know, who also did Weapons, which is another movie I've seen. It's on this list somewhere. But Barbarian was his first horror movie. It's about this woman who goes to an Airbnb in Detroit, and it's like double booked with this other guy, and then it leads to all sorts of fucking insanity, which I won't spoil. You should definitely watch this one. It's a lot of fun. Now, Barbarian for me is somewhere between B and A tier. And I'm just trying to think here. I definitely... You know what? I liked Barbarian quite a bit, actually. I mean, it's kind of dumb in certain ways, but that's part of the... This was just... Okay, the first time I watched Barbarian, it was so much fun. All right? I mean, I don't think it has, like, rewatchability. Once you kind of know the twist, it's not as interesting. I mean, it's still fun to rewatch, but first time I watched it, I was having a blast. So, you know, honestly, dude, I'm putting Barbarian in A tier. That was just a lot of fun. A fun-ass horror movie. It's not the spookiest thing you'll see, but it's got some good jump scares, etc. All right, then we got Behind the Mask, which is kind of like a mockumentary style thing where people are following a slasher villain and kind of asking him about his day-to-day. One of my friends, she told me about it, and I watched it, and I thought it was pretty good. I didn't think it was, like, amazing, but I was like, oh, this is kind of cute, fun little movie. It kind of reminded me of, like, Scream, in a certain way, like, but it's way more blatantly a parody of, like, slasher movies than Scream is. It was interesting. It's a fun one. It's not, scary. It's pretty funny, actually. It's kind of a comedy. But it's definitely worth checking out. I wouldn't put it in A tier, but it's, like, pretty good. So it goes in B tier. All right, next we got the Blair Witch Project, which is, the OG found footage, at least the thing that popularized found footage horror movies. And it's kind of a classic. I will say that it hasn't aged particularly well because there's been 50 bazillion found footage horror movies since the Blair Witch. And returning to it, it's pretty slow, it's pretty boring. And a lot of the sell was the fact that a lot of people thought that it was, like, real footage of this shit. Which obviously is not the case. But there's some intriguing things going on. You're trying to, like, figure out what's going on. It's like, are these people just kind of going crazy when they're lost in the woods? Are people purposely sabotaging? Is this really a supernatural thing? So there's some intrigue to it, and I enjoy it. So I'll put it in B tier. I think that back in the day, it probably would have hit way better, But for me personally, it goes in B tier now for Blair Witch. Look at this. We got a nice little bell curve. I guess we need to fill in A and D a little bit more, but there you go. And speaking of filling in A, Bone Tomahawk goes an A for me. All right, so Bone Tomahawk's an interesting one. It's like a Western horror movie that I enjoyed quite a bit. There's some fucked up shit that goes on in this one, but it's worth checking out. It's about a bunch of cowboys who go out into the hills to like try to kill these really savage. It's the hills have eyes kind of shit. Okay, you'll see if you watch it, and some fucked up shit happens. And me personally, I like westerns. I like horror movies. I like it all, and so it's kind of a little perfect blend for me. I like this one a lot. So check it out if you haven't seen Bone Tomahawk. All right, this is the new Candyman, the Candyman remake, which I liked pretty well. I wasn't in love with it, you know. Honestly, it's definitely a horror movie, but it's got a ton of like social commentary in it, which I appreciate. But at the same time, I kind of went into it wanting to see it be more of kind of that weird Southern Gothic horror that the original was. And this one felt more like modern, you know, which makes sense. It's a modern update. I appreciate they tried to do something different with it, but for me personally, it didn't hit as much as the original. But I did like it. I liked it pretty well. You know, it's kind of has a bunch of critique of art and, you know, culture. Obviously, there's the racial aspect of it, but there's also a lot of stuff about art, gentrification, lots of interesting topics handled in an interesting way. But it's not like one of my favorite horror movies. Still worth checking out, though. IMO. I liked it. But OG Candyman, that goes in A tier for me, personally. Personally, I really like the original Candyman. And honestly, a good amount of that is due to the fact that I'm absolutely in love with the soundtrack, which was done by Philip Glass, who's awesome, you know? But it just, it's got a lot going on for it. It's actually kind of funny because growing up, I was not into horror movies. And I remember my sister watched Candyman with one of her friends in like elementary school, and it scared the shit out of her because, you know, she saw it when she was really young. But the entire time, I'd kind of thought that it was kind of one of those, like, generic slasher movies, you know, just because that was the way that she kind of described it at the time. And so I was pleasantly surprised when I went back and revisited it as, like, an adult and saw it for the first time. And I was like, this is awesome. This is great. So, yeah, Candyman, in my opinion, that's a fucking classic, all right? The way that it like, blends kind of these gothic elements with, like, You just gotta watch it. It's great. It's awesome stuff. All right, now we have the first Creep movie, which there are 2 on this list that I've seen. There might be more. It's starting to rain outside. Cool. Rained pretty hard, so you might be able to hear that. But I'm going to continue. Okay. It's because I'm doing a horror movie list. You know, I had to set the ambiance for me. Anyway, we got Creep, which I saw on Netflix, and it kind of is a mockumentary style thing as well. Kind of a found footage thing where this guy shows up to pursue, like, I don't remember what the I think there was like an ad of somebody putting out like he like put out like an ad about wanting to be recorded, and then there's like a bunch of weird shit that happens beyond that. He wanted to like document his life, and it kind of just devolves into some weird, creepy shit. I remember liking this one pretty well. I remember it was kind of a B-tier horror movie for me. It's not particularly scary, but it was interesting, and you're trying to figure out, like, what is going on with this guy for the, entire movie. I mean, obviously, he's a creep, but you don't really know in what ways and on what levels, you know? And so it's a fun one. I enjoyed it. Wasn't, a spooky one, really, but it was definitely good. All right, next we got Cure, which is a Japanese horror movie. It's kind of like a crime horror. Well, what do I call it? Yeah, it is a crime horror movie where there's basically this detective, I believe, or a cop who is pursuing a case where people keep dying and having these, like, I think they're like X's that are like carved into them. And it turns out that there's kind of this guy who's this kind of supernatural force of evil who is forcing people to kill each other in this weird way. And it's an awesome movie. For me, it goes in A tier. It's not like a spooky, scary horror movie, really, but it's really well done. the way that it's filmed, it's really moody, and I love this movie. I thought it was awesome. It's not best of the best material for me, but it's definitely up there in A tier. Definitely check that one out. All right, we got the original Evil Dead, the first one, okay? And for me personally, it'll make a little more sense when I get to Evil Dead 2, but for me personally, this is a solid B tier entry, all right? Evil Dead, original Evil Dead, it's, it's pretty low budget, and it's a fun one, but it was like trying to be a horror movie, wasn't trying to be campy, but it was campy because of the fact that it was a low budget. It's got fun stuff going on. It's got a little stop motion, I think. It's got some, it's a fun one. But I'm not going to get too much into it because it'll make more sense when I get to Evil Dead 2 as to why this lands in B tier. But for me, OG Evil Dead, B tier. Above average. Pretty good. All right, next we got The Exorcist, which of course is an all-time classic, okay? Now, I hadn't seen The Exorcist until like last year, actually, which is kind of crazy, because I remember, I would hear so much about it, and my mom saw it when she was like babysitting back when it came out or something like that. She was like babysitting, and then after the kid went to sleep, she watched it and supposedly just scared the absolute shit out of her, and she couldn't sleep for like days. So there you go. And I heard that it had that effect on a lot of people. I will say, watching it today, it does not have that same effect, at least on me. I watched it and I was like, oh, this is really good, but it's dated. It's an older movie, so for me personally, it didn't do a whole lot in the horror department, but that could just be me, But it was good. I liked it a lot. I thought it was really good, really well done, and I think for a lot of people, they'd probably put an S tier because of the legacy and the impact that it's had, which I fully acknowledge, but me personally watching it, I can put it in A tier. Really good, loved it, but for me, it's not, today, I don't think it's the best of the best horror movie you can go out and see. For me personally, too, it didn't quite age as well as The Shining did for me. The Shining, the aesthetics, everything about it, so beautiful, so amazing. This one's got, it's got a lot of that same kind of a thing, but the effects haven't aged as well necessarily, and I don't know. For me, it didn't hit as much. All right, so there you go. All right, Grave Encounters. So I watched this movie when I was on a tour with my band after I graduated from high school. We went down to LA, and we did like kind of a little West Coast tour thing. And we were in a van in a Walmart parking lot watching Grave Encounters on a tiny little screen from this weird, like, PlayStation 2, like, flip screen, like, TV hybrid thing that our guitarist had bought off some guy in a parking lot from a Craigslist deal. So there's a lot going on there. There's a lot to unpack there. But basically, I watched this movie on a tiny screen and couldn't see shit in a car. And, I'm not going to lie, I had a good time because we were just chilling, with the buds. Just 5 dudes in a van, or 5 or 6, I can't remember. But this was not a good movie. It is a D tier entry, but I did have a good time. All right, so there you go. Carrie. All right, so I have seen Carrie a long time ago, and I don't remember a ton about it, but I do remember liking it. And the fucking pig's blood scene is iconic, and people start dying and all hell breaks loose. I'll have to rewatch it. Maybe if I rewatched it, it'd go in A tier, but for me personally, that is a B tier horror movie. It's pretty damn good, but it's not like a movie I loved, but maybe if I revisit it, I will. All right, then we got Creep 2, which is the sequel to Creep, which I also enjoyed. It was about the same guy, and then there's kind of a woman who's coming to document him because I think she knows about what he does, though, so she kind of admires him, and it's weird. It's a weird one. It's kind of an interesting twist on the original movie, and so I would put that in B tier. I remember liking it. I don't remember too many specifics about it, but I did enjoy it. So there you go. Once again, not really like a scary movie necessarily, but it's interesting. So next we got Halloween, and this is going to get me a lot of flack. I can already tell, okay? Because a lot of people love this movie. And I'm saying this is my opinion, okay? In my opinion, this movie has not aged well. And I like John Carpenter's stuff a lot, okay? But my sister and I, like, she used to live with me a few years ago, and we went through a lot of kind of the old classic horror movies, and this was one of them. And we both agreed that it was really boring. Okay, I'm sorry. Like, you know, Mike Myers, classic design, you know, timeless, you know? The music, the dun 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 dun, you know, absolutely classic, you know, iconic. But let me tell you, when we watched it back then, you know, and maybe I'll have to rewatch it this year, just to make sure, it was pretty boring, and not gonna lie, it was kind of mid. All right, so for me personally, Halloween, one of the all-time classics. For me, watching it today, it goes in C tier. I'm sorry, sue me. I'm sorry. This is my list, though. You can tell me how stupid I am down in the comments below, but my God, I'm bored watching that shit. Okay, sorry. Speaking of bored, I saw Host during the pandemic because it got really good reviews for some reason, and it's about, like, these people that are doing, like, a seance through a video call, if I'm remembering correctly, and I don't know, it was very well reviewed at the time, at least, I believe, and so I was like, okay, I'll check it out. Sounds like a fun concept, and it was okay. I wasn't blown away by it. I didn't think it was particularly good. So for me, Host goes in C tier. All right, it was fine. I thought it was kind of massively overrated. Another movie that I thought was kind of overrated was Heretic. I'm not gonna lie. I watched this movie. I liked it, but I did not like it as much as people were, I don't know, raving about it. All right, and maybe it's because so I'm not a religious guy. I used to be Catholic, and I kind of had a period of time where I was getting into a lot of, you know, watching a lot of atheist media and stuff. To me, like, almost this felt like, and it's kind of horrific in that way, you know, meeting an average Redditor, the movie. I'm not gonna lie. You know, it was interesting, and it was fun, and it was good, but I just wasn't, and I thought that the performance by, what's his name? The actor, okay, I mean, the performances of everybody were really good, but I really liked the dude who did a really good job of being this kind of, like, unsettling creep dude, you know? But I thought it was very well done, you know, but I thought that personally, just because I've heard a lot of these arguments and stuff in other forms, I thought it was a little bit on the nose, and I was like, all right, you know, anyway. But I liked it, so I put it in B tier. I know a lot of people probably put it in A tier. I just thought it was pretty good. TBH Fridays. All right. I Know What You Did Last Summer, and I remember not liking it very well, and I don't remember much about it beyond that. But there you go. I think it was about, there was some kind of murder mystery involving teens. So, you know, D tier. Boo. D tier. Not that great. All right. Now this one, okay. This one is borderline not, well, okay. It's I think enough horrific shit happens in this movie that it is a horror movie. This is I Saw the Devil, and this is kind of a Korean revenge horror movie, and I really like this movie. It's very fucked up, all right? It's really fucked up, but me personally, I love Korean revenge movies. Old Boy, is that a horror movie? Could I put that on this list? If Old Boy was on this list, I'd be putting that in A tier as well. But I'm going to put I Saw the Devil in A tier. I enjoyed this movie quite a bit. It's me personally. It's really fucked up, so, you know, just be prepared for that if you're going to watch it. There's just a bunch of deplorables, okay? But I like this one a lot. I enjoyed it, all right? Korean movie. I like a lot of Korean movies. They've got some good stuff going on over there. I mean, Parasite, hell yeah, dude. That's a classic. Drag Me to Hell, which is by Sam Raimi, and I saw this back in high school with some buds, and this one was a lot of fun. It's not an amazing movie by any means, but it's definitely a fun horror movie. There's some memorable moments, like the one of the moments that sticks out to me is there's a goat that gets possessed by like a demon or something at some point, and calls the protagonist a whore or something like that, like in a goat accent. Goat accent, there we go. I gotta practice my goat accent. But that part was awesome. Sam Raimi knows how to make a fun movie, and so Drag Me to Hell goes into B tier. It's above average. I liked it. Alright, I saw the TV Glow. I like this one a lot. I thought it was pretty damn good. I don't know if I feel the need to revisit it. I like a lot of the, you know, it's kind of a metaphor in certain ways for, I mean, a lot of people say it has to do with being trans, you know, which is interesting, and then also kind of being a metaphor for people who are like, just even, I think, LGBTQ, you know, plus, all that stuff, and I think it's really cool. I think it gets that kind of idea across really well, and I enjoyed it a lot. For me personally, though, it's like, you know, I can't relate to the movie as much as a lot of other people, but I think it was really well done. I liked it quite a bit. This is my list, though, and for me personally, it goes in B tier. I think that it's like, I can see how it'd be like an A tier movie or whatever, but it's just like, compared to other movies, it's not like one of my favorites, but I did enjoy it a lot, and I thought it was really interesting and a really good watch. So it's just that the subject matter, you know, doesn't hit close to home with me personally, because as a straight, you know, straight cis man, all right. But I thought it was really well done, and I enjoyed it. So it's gonna go like top of B tier. It's like between the two for me, all right. But there you go. Next we got Gerald's Game, which was a fun one. I think it was a Netflix original. It's based off of a Stephen King story, I believe, and it's about a woman and her husband, and they go out and like to a vacation home or something, and they're getting kinky with it, you know, and he ends up, I think, having a heart attack while she's handcuffed to a bed, and then she's stuck there, and there's a bunch of interesting shit that goes down. All right, and I remember I liked this one pretty well. I thought it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. It's not like one of my favorite horror movies, but I was like, pretty damn good. I like it. Next we got The Ritual, okay, which is a backpacking horror movie that, I don't know if it's a Netflix original, but I saw it on Netflix, and I liked it, okay? But I don't know. I thought the first half of the movie was a lot better than the second half. Just with like a lot of horror, you know, it's when things start to become too explained, too revealed as to what's going on, it kind of loses a lot of the shit that makes it interesting. And I think that kind of happened in this movie. Like, the creature design in this movie is pretty cool. You know, the monster design and stuff like that. And I just love this setting. I love a good, you know, woods horror movie setting. I mean, like Blair Witch was a lot of fun in that regard. People getting spooked out in the woods, because I love, you know, hiking and backpacking and that kind of stuff. So that hits for me. But then, yeah, there's the second part I was like, nah, I could really take it or leave it. So it's a solid B tier entry for me. Pretty good, pretty good. All right, now we got Hereditary, which is an Ari Aster movie. And I gotta be honest with y'all, this is my favorite horror movie. This is in my opinion, this is the best of the best when it comes to horror movies. And it's absolutely amazing. All right, now let's take a little bit to talk about it, because it is my favorite horror movie. So, you know, it's by Ari Aster. It stars Toni Collette. That's one of the dudes from the Naked Brothers band. And then, I don't know. But the performances are all great. Toni Collette kills it. Whoever the girl is who plays like the little girl who gets her head knocked off, incredible. She has a really good job of being a creepy, possessed little kid, you know? But it's awesome. So great performances all around, and the mystery of the movie, you know, once again, I think that the things that make these movies timeless are kind of the things outside of the horror that kind of augment the story, because over time, you know, it becomes less scary, right? And I think that, like, the intrigue with, like, you know, you watching and trying to figure out what's going on and being able to go back and put the pieces together and see, you know, foreshadowed hints and clues earlier on in the movie. That's a lot of fun. There's a lot of blink or you'll miss it kind of moments in the movie. The fact that it's based on, you know, like actual, you know, but like demonology that people, I don't know, have come up with, you know, so it's based in kind of a mythological framework is really cool. I thought the family drama aspect, the kind of commentary on communication within a family, the family unit, and just I mean, it's fucking disturbing in a lot of ways. There's some absolutely brutal scenes in this movie that make it stand out and stick in your mind, and it's just the absolute best. Also, the juxtaposition between like it's just, there's so many layers to the horror that I enjoy so much in this movie, because it knows when to, you know, put on the gas and when to let off, and then when to put in some spice in the mix that just kind of unsettles you. Like, one of my favorite things about the movie, because I just think it's so well done, is the fact that it's like all this horrific shit is going on, you know, like people sawing their own heads off or whatever, but you find that a lot of, like, just these there's just these old people, you know, like they look like normal old people that you would find in a retirement home that are naked and standing in the shadows, and for some reason that's the scariest shit going on in the moment. It's like they're just standing there smiling, nude, in the shadows, and for some reason that's terrifying. And I was like, oh my god, this is an amazing movie. So yeah, this is my favorite horror movie. Might be kind of a basic bitch pick, you know, the A24 fanboy, you know, but it is great. And I love this movie. It's one of my favorite movies, period. So, there you go. Alright, now we have Dave Made a Maze, which is a movie that my parents told me I should watch, and then I watched it, and I guess it's kind of a comedy movie, but it's like very weird, and it has horror aspects of it. And, you know, I ended up enjoying this one. It was a pretty entertaining ride. This is not like a Halloween movie, really. It's just kind of an odd concept. It's about this guy who, I guess, gets obsessed with building a maze out of cardboard boxes, and then it turns out that it's like a gigantic mega structure inside that's full of a bunch of weird cardboard entities and shit, and it's pretty ridiculous, it's pretty funny, and it's a fun one. So Dave Made a Maze goes in B tier. Alright, next we got Immaculate, which is a movie that I saw last year, I guess. Was it last year or the year before? I can't remember. Whatever it came out like the same time as The Last Omen, which is another movie that I saw. But it's like about basically this like nun who becomes pregnant, you know, the Immaculate Conception, and there's all this weird shit going on, and it has kind of Vatican science bullshit. And me personally, I just thought this movie was okay. It was fine. I thought it was kind of hokey at the end with the whole Vatican science thing, which is kind of a trend that other movies have gotten into. What I mean by that is like it feels like mad scientists in the fucking church, like the Catholic Church, who are experimenting with, like, you know, bringing about the Antichrist or something. I don't know. It happens in this movie, and it was like, okay, whatever, dude. So, for me, Immaculate is C tier. Alright, next we got Infinity Pool, which is a movie that was by Cronenberg's son, I think. So I guess also Cronenberg. But it's a movie about these rich people who go to another country for vacation, and, like, one of the guys ends up leaving. They're supposed to, like, stay on the premises of this, like, resort that they're at, but then these people end up leaving, and this guy ends up, like, hitting somebody with a car, and the whole thing is that there's the death penalty on the island, but what they do is they clone you, and then they kill your clone, and you get to keep on living. So there's all these, like, rich fucks who go out and commit debauchery and all these crimes and, like, kill people and shit, but then their clone gets killed on their behalf. I'll I'll have to watch this one again. It was an interesting concept, but personally, I didn't think it was that well done, at least when I saw it at the time. And for me personally, it was just kind of a C-tier movie. Like, I thought that the concept sounded really interesting, but it was just kind of okay. So I was like, it's fine. So it goes in C-tier for me. Alright, we got the original Insidious movie, which is about a kid who ends up going into a coma, and it turns out it's because he astrally projected and became kidnapped by a demon or something. And then there's a family of psychics that he's part of, and yada yada yada. And I've only seen the first Insidious movie, and I remember it being above average. I remember it being, like, pretty good, okay? A lot of people love these movies. I think a lot of people probably... I kind of lump it in the same group as I do, like, The Conjuring, and maybe it's just because it has that Patrick... The dude who's in every horror movie, you know what I'm talking about? As the dad. But, like, I thought it was pretty good. Like, there's some stupid shit going on, but I thought that there were some interesting elements, and the... Okay, well, now I'm remembering. The fucking... Is this the one that has the old lady who gets in a gas mask? Oh my god, that part was bad, though. That was so stupid. Okay, the old lady who has a gas mask and the two bumbling assistants by themselves. Yeah, I'm remembering now. That knocks it down. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ, man. Dude, my phone just scared the shit out of me. What the fuck? Oh my god. What did I say that triggered that shit? Just jumped out of my seat. Good lord. Alright, well there we go. You got an IRL jump scare. Get the fuck out of here, Google. Oh my god. Anyway. No, okay, now that I'm remembering that knocks this down to C tier. Okay? Also Google jump scaring me. Knocks it down to C tier. But I'll say, like, the smiling family I thought was pretty interesting. I thought that was well done. I thought it was something that could have been, like, completely ridiculous, but I think ended up kind of working and being unsettling and creepy. And I think that a couple of the jump scares initially with the demon were pretty good. But ultimately, the fucking gas mask woman ruined the movie completely. So it goes in C tier. Alright, now this is I See You, which, according to Amazon, I did watch at some point, and I remember virtually nothing about it, other than I think it has to do with frogging, which is the term used for people who, like, live in other people's houses while the people are still living there, which is just, in of itself, a really kind of horrifying concept, and something that has actually happened to people, unfortunately. And so that's the reason I watched it, is because the concept just sounded pretty horrific. But I barely remember anything about it, and I remember thinking it was probably just okay. So it kind of goes in C tier for me. So there you go. Now we have It Chapter 1, which is the new remake of It, which is the half of the movie where there's the kids, you know, starring the kids. And, you know, I thought It Chapter 1 was great. Okay, for me, it goes in A tier. Alright, it's not S tier. It might be surprising to some people that I'd rate it so high, you know? But I like this one a lot. Now, to be fair, I personally enjoy a good jump scare fest. Okay? Not everybody does. If you do not enjoy movies with a lot of jump scares, games with jump scares, you probably won't like this movie as much as I did. Alright? The story is fine, you know, and I think that Skarsgård does a great job as Pennywise, you know? But the scares in this one were a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun watching this in the theaters. I remember it being one of the better horror movies I'd seen at the time. This is a movie that I could slap on at Halloween and I'd have a great time, alright? So, it's not anything to write home about. I mean, it's based off of the Stephen King book, you know? And spoiler alert, It Chapter 2, I'm not going to be rating as highly. I'm not going to spoil where it goes yet. But Chapter 1, I think is a great movie. Alright, lots of fun. Lots of fun. So, there you go. Alright, next we got Get Out, which is the first Jordan Peele horror movie, I believe. And I thought this was a great movie. It was a lot of fun. It's an interesting concept. It's got some interesting commentary. There's also some comedy thrown in. I think it's really well done. It's got, you know, like I said, social commentary about kind of racism, but it's got an interesting concept, and it's actually, you know, kind of creepy at certain points in time, you know, and that's just a fun one. I saw that one in the theaters when it came out. I enjoyed it quite a bit. For me, it goes into A tier. Good movie. Good movie. I'll have to rewatch it. I haven't seen it in a while, but I remember, you know, the sunken place and all that stuff. All right, next we got Jeepers Creepers, which is like an old fucking slasher movie that I have seen, and I don't remember much about it, but I know that it's like about a moth guy who lives in a pit who kills people or something, and I remember it being kind of bad, so it goes in D tier. Okay, there you go. Not very good. Next we got the new Hellraiser, which was like the remake of the OG Hell. Well, no, it's not a remake. It's like a new take on Hellraiser, which I saw on, was it Hulu or some shit? And I saw it, and it was okay. For me, it's like a C tier movie. You know, I was like, okay, it's fine. It's kind of forgettable. There's some interesting stuff. I mean, people getting trapped in planes of torment for eternity and Cenobites is always fun, but I don't remember it being anything to write home about, so it goes in C tier for me. Alright, next we have Ju-on. Is it Ju-on, right? Or something like that. The Grudge, the Japanese version of The Grudge, which I saw, and I remember being pretty good. Alright, and I know it's like, it's super influential movie, you know? But I don't think it holds up quite as well as it did back in the day. But I saw it, and I remember liking it. So it's better than average. But I didn't really stick with me super hard in this day and age. And so for me, it's a solid B tier entry. All right, next we got Pulse, I believe. I think this is Pulse, which is another Japanese horror movie, which is about people getting, it's like hell overflowing and having souls come out of electronics and people like basically committing suicide and yada 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 and disappearing, and I don't know, there's my dad was absolutely terrified by this movie, which is interesting. I don't really know why. I've seen some videos on YouTube of people saying this is like one of the scariest movies ever. And there's some scenes that are creepy in a certain way if it hits you. Like there's a part where like a woman is walking towards a guy and she's like stumbling, which is it's an interesting scene. For me, it didn't really do as much as it seemed to do for other people. And there's definitely some shit that did not age super well. I'm remembering a particular plane crash that looked absolutely god-awful with the special effects at the time. But I remember it being pretty good. I was like, yeah, this is fine. This is pretty good. But a lot of people love this one. I thought it was pretty good. So it goes in B tier for me. All right, next we got Deadstream, which was a Shudder original, which I watched with some friends. And it's basically a horror comedy mockumentary about a live streamer going into a haunted house. And it's an actual haunted house. And yada, yada, yada. I had fun watching this movie. I don't think it was very good, particularly good, but it was fun to watch, and it's worth watching. I think that there were parts of it that probably would landed in B tier, but there's also a lot of parts of it that would landed in D tier, so it's going to go in C tier for me. It was pretty good. I had a fun time watching it, but I don't think I'm going to put it in B tier. So, worth checking out, but not amazing. So there you go. All right, this is Late Night with the Devil, which is one that came out recently, I think, and I like this movie a lot. I've seen it a few times. It's a lot of fun. It's not, you know, like a scare your pants off kind of horror movie, but it's just a lot of fun. So it basically, the concept is it's like a late night talk show, and they're doing this kind of Halloween special, and then all this weirdness starts to happen, and it goes off the rails, and it kind of gets into weird kind of satanic panic stuff, but also what is it, kind of conspiracy theory stuff with Bohemian Grove, you know? that kind of a thing, which are always topics that are interesting to me. You know, fucking Alex Jones shit, etc. And so I thought this one was really well done. I thought it was a lot of fun. It feels kind of like a late night talk show. And it's a fun one to watch. I think it's great. And it's like a good introduction for people who aren't super into horror. Because it's not like super over the top scary or anything like that. And there's a lot of intrigue and mystery to it. And so I put that one in A tier. I liked it a lot. Late Night with the Devil. I think it's a new classic. All right, I think this one is Lights Out, which is one that I saw in high school, I think. And it was based off of maybe it was college. I can't remember, honestly. Whatever. I saw it sometime around then. And it was based off of a horror short film on YouTube. Which is where this woman is, she's like in her house and she flips the lights on, or she flips the lights off, and then she sees a shadow in the darkness. Then she flips the lights on, and then it's gone. And she flips the lights off, and she sees it again. And then she flips them on, and then it's gone. She flips them off again, and then it's gone, right? So it's like whatever it is moved, and then she gets spooked, you know. And it was basically like based on that concept where it's like an entity that dematerializes in the light, and so then, you know, lights are going out and yada yada yada. I remember it being fine. It wasn't super memorable. I think I had a good time watching it, but for me it's probably C tier. It was fine. Next we got Longlegs, which is one that I think came out last year, right? And this one has Nicolas Cage, you know, classic Nicolas Cage action. It's kind of like a satanic horror movie that has a lot of interesting twists and turns. And it was kind of a polarizing movie, I think. I think there were some people who liked it a lot, and there's some people who didn't like it. And for me, I was kind of a little bit in the middle. I liked it, but I wasn't, like, blown away by it, and I didn't think it was bad. I thought it was good. I thought it was well done. I thought it was kind of creepy in a lot of ways. I thought that Nick Cage did a good job, you know, as the weird, like rock and roll Satanist guy. I thought it was good. Passable, not enough to put in an A tier with all my, you know, some of my faves, but it goes in a solid B tier. I thought Longlegs was good. So there you go. All right, now we got Mad God, which is a kind of a stop motion horror movie that kind of looks like a Tool music video, but it's full length. All right, and it's trying to figure out what the story is in this movie is a task, and I need to go back and revisit it for sure, but I was looking forward to this movie for a long time because I love creepy stop-motion shit. I used to be a Tool fan, and I loved their music videos back in the day. I've always loved stop-motion. I think it's really cool. And so I was waiting for this one, and I will say I was a bit disappointed with it. It wasn't quite what I was expecting, but it was good. And I did enjoy it. And I got to revisit it again, but it was not quite what I wanted, I would say, what I was expecting. And not in a good way, necessarily. But I thought it was good. So I'm going to put it in B tier. I wish I could have put it in A tier or S tier. I really wanted to love this movie. But I don't know. There were some things about... I don't know. It didn't hit quite as much is all I can really say. And you should watch it, though. There's a lot of really cool moments and cool monster design and stuff, but didn't quite hit as much as I wanted. All right, next we got Mama, which is a movie I saw at some point in theaters. And the Mama creature design is kind of creepy, but really it's not anything to write home about. It's a solid C-tier entry for me. It's fine. I remember liking it well enough, but... goes in C tier for me. Now this one, oh my god, Malignant. This is an interesting one. Because this movie is so fucking stupid. It is one of the stupidest movies you will ever see. And it's kind of amazing at the same time. It's kind of awesome. It's so fucking dumb. I don't want to spoil it, but it is also so fucking awesome at the same time. And it's ridiculous. All right, you got to go into this movie one, to have a good time, all right? And you will have a good time if you want to have a good time, and you're not taking yourself too seriously, okay? This one's a fucking riot, man. This one I'm putting in B tier. I cannot bring myself to put it in A tier, but I kind of love this movie. All right, Malignant, it's fucking stupid. But just watch it, okay? Trust me, just watch it. I don't think you'll regret it, but it is the fucking dumbest shit ever. All right, so there you go. Malignant, B tier. All right, now we got Fear Street 1994, which is one that my sister and I watched also. And I did not like this movie, TBH. I mean, it's supposed to be kind of campy and goosebumpsy, you know? But I thought it was really annoying and stupid. So for me, it personally goes in D tier. And I did not watch any of the other Fear Street movies because I didn't like this one. So there you go. There you go. Sorry if you like Fear Street. I don't. All right, we got The Midnight Meat Train next, which is... So basically, like, growing up, the only movies that I would watch were, like, shitty free on-demand movies, basically, you know? And I would always see The Midnight Meat Train listed, and then we ended up watching it with one of my friends. This has Bradley Cooper in it. So whenever anybody, like, brings up Bradley Cooper, I'm like, oh yeah, from Midnight Meat Train, right? And they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm like, yeah, he was starred in Midnight Meat Train. It's based off a Clive Barker story, which I didn't know until actually, like, recently, but I saw it back in the day. And I remember the name was so ridiculous to me. I was like, what the fuck is this? And I saw it, and I remember it being fine. I was like, okay, that was better than I thought it was going to be, but I thought it was going to be absolute dog shit. But for me, it was just okay. It was fine. I think Bradley Cooper, I remember him doing a fine job. He was like a photographer or something who's kind of like documenting the dingy, shitty lifestyle of New York or something like that, and then he ends up seeing people getting butchered on a subway or something. It was interesting. Maybe I'll have to revisit it, but I don't remember it being amazing, so it goes in C tier. All right, next we got It Follows, which is about these high schoolers who basically end up getting this kind of curse where they end up being followed by an entity that just kind of walks after them, but if it catches up to you, you end up getting turned into a fucking pretzel, okay? And the way that you get rid of the curse is by having sex with somebody else and passing the curse on to them. And so when I first heard the concept of this, I thought that sounded dumb as shit. I was like, this sounds really stupid, you know? But then I watched the movie, and it's actually great, all right? This is a great movie. This goes in A tier for me. The vibe of it, it's got this dreamlike quality to it that I wasn't expecting. It's very kind of like artsy in a lot of ways. So like, when I heard the gimmick, I'm like, this is gonna be some stupid fucking gimmick horror movie, right? But it's actually not that. And, you know, the soundtrack's awesome, the vibe is awesome. It's got this weird nostalgic vibe, but it doesn't really take place in, it doesn't take place in any particular time period. There's some stuff that's like, from back in the day, there's some stuff that's from the future. It's kind of just this weird, like I said, dreamlike movie. And I liked it a lot. I think it's awesome. You should definitely check it out. Don't dismiss it just based on the premise. It's got an interesting commentary on, you know, coming of age, sexuality, that kind of a thing, and I liked it. I enjoyed it. Check it out. And it's got some creepy moments as well, like the fucking entities that lumber behind you. It's pretty well done. It's pretty well done. So, there you go. Alright, next we got Evil Dead Rise, which is one of the new Evil Dead movies that came out. I saw this in theaters, and I thought it was pretty good. It was a lot of fun. It's not one of my, like, favorite horror movies, but it was a fun time. There's some pretty brutal stuff that goes on, and it's a fun one. It takes place all in this kind of, like, shitty apartment complex, and it's interesting in that way. But yeah, it's fun. It's got that kind of Evil Dead feel to it, while still being more modern, you know? And it's worth checking out. Check it out if you like the Evil Dead movies. I had a good time with it. All right, now we got It Chapter 2, or I'll call it shit, because it was pretty fucking bad, all right? How the Mighty Have Fallen. We go from It Chapter 1 in A tier all the way down to It Chapter 2 in D tier, which almost makes me want to drop this one down, you know, because they're part of the same story. You know, this is supposed to be a continuation of this one. But I thought It Chapter 1 was awesome, and I thought this one was fucking dog shit, alright? Which was unfortunate. I wanted to like it, but this is when, you know, they're adults, they've grown up, they end up going back to Derry, and they're trying to stop Pennywise, but it just falls flat. It's super fucking lame. I thought it was shit. So, there you go. It Chapter 2 is dog shit. Now we got Krampus, which is a Christmas horror movie, which I saw in theaters with some friends. We went, and they all hated it. Okay, I remember I went with a guy who, to be fair, this guy smuggled in like a fucking full bottle of whiskey that they were drinking during the movie. So they were drunk off their asses. They don't know what the hell they're talking about, because this is an A-tier horror movie, dude. Krampus is the shit. All right, now I don't watch this around Halloween time because it's a Christmas movie, but this is the best Christmas horror movie possible. It's awesome. It's like just the right blend of, like, you know, Christmas stuff with horror stuff, with campiness and a little bit of horror. I mean, it's just, it's awesome. I think this is so much fun. Underrated. I think it's getting more appreciation over time. I remember, like, when I first saw it, I loved it, and other people were like, it's not that good. But it is so much fun, dude. I watch this every year at Christmas time, because it's like, it's probably my favorite Christmas movie, okay? It's going to A tier. Definitely check that one out at Christmas time if you haven't seen it, because, you know, it's amazing. It's so much fun, okay? So there you go. Sue me. All right, I put Krampus above fucking Halloween. That is, people are gonna go nutso, but I don't care. All right, next we got Lair of the White Worm, which, oh my god, that was another one of those shitty free on-demand movies that I saw. I kind of blocked this one out of my memory because I made the mistake of watching this movie with, they put it on. This was, my parents put this on, and I watched along, and if you've seen this movie, oh my god, that was the most awkward shit ever. There's a part with a strap-on dildo, I think, and yeah, I would not recommend watching this with your parents. That was an oversight, but I thought it was supposed to be based off of a fucking, like, Bram Stoker novel, but we were just sitting there watching as there's a fucking, like, nude woman in a strap-on. I'm like, let me just sink into this couch and never come out, please. So, I think it was a D tier. I remember it being D tier. It might be better, you know, than that, but my experience was definitely D tier, if not F tier, so it's gonna go in D tier. Alright, next we got Megan, which I did see in theaters, which is about a weird AI girl who is supposed to be friends with some girl, and she's an evil AI robot girl. I remember this being fine. I don't know. I didn't think it was very good or very bad. I barely have any opinion on it. I almost completely forgot about it until I was kind of looking through a list of movies to try to refresh my memory. But I remember I thought it was going to be pretty bad, and then I saw it. I was like, it's fine. It was okay. So it just goes in C tier. I wouldn't really recommend it because it's just kind of forgettable, in my opinion. But this is not forgettable. This is Mandy right here, which is a Nicolas Cage kind of a horror movie, like about a cult, but it's like the most ridiculous fucking... It's kind of a slow burn. It feels like... This movie feels like if you took a sludge metal song or like a doom metal song and you turned it into a movie. And it's absolutely amazing, and it definitely is going to go into A tier. Alright, I'm not going to put it in S tier because it's not like a super overt horror movie, but there's a lot of like... There is a lot of horror aspect to it. It's more of kind of a weird stoner revenge movie. But it's amazing. The style of it is awesome. The guy who directed this ended up doing one of the episodes of Guillermo del Toro's like Cabinet of Curiosities that I liked a lot. The dude's style is really cool. He also did that, was it Over the Black Rainbow, which I need to go see because I like this guy's stuff a lot. He's got a cool vibe, and this is no exception. I think Nick Cage does a great job. I think that I don't know, the way it's shot is just beautiful. I love this one. It's a bit of a slow burn and it's really long, so be prepared, but it's definitely worth checking out. Mandy. And, you know, there's Cheddar Goblin, which is an unforgettable moment. All right, next we got Midsommar, which is also by Ari Aster, the guy who did Hereditary, and just for that reason, it goes in S tier. No, I'm kidding. I actually do love this movie. So I'm a bit of an Ari Aster fanboy. I'm sorry, okay? And this one kind of more feels like a dark fairy tale more than anything, but I mean, let's be honest, there's some pretty horrific shit that goes on. And a lot of the horrific shit that goes on takes place in broad daylight, which is interesting. And, I don't know, I think that this movie is awesome. It's kind of the same thing as with Hereditary, where there's a lot of, like, blink and you'll miss it kind of stuff. It deals with a lot of interesting subject matter, you know, like relationships and breakups and grief and cults and family, and I don't know, I just it explores a lot of interesting topics in a very grotesque and interesting way that I absolutely love. This is also where I developed my celebrity crush of Florence Pugh, and it's probably just because I thought this movie was awesome, and I'm like, all right, that's my babe right there. But yeah, absolutely an S-tier movie in my opinion. I love it. I love it. It's pretty fucked up. There's some parts that are pretty shocking, just like with Hereditary. Lots of head trauma. There's a blood eagle that is presented. There's some interesting stuff, but check it out if you're not too squeamish. All right, next we got Caveat, which is a movie that I think is a Shudder original, if I'm not mistaken, but I think it's an Irish movie, which, you know, represent. But Caveat is about a guy who gets roped into a fucking thing. I'm trying to remember what the premise was. It was like he was doing a favor for his friend to go out to a property to, like, I think he was just going out to, like, look after a property, but then it ended up being that, like, the dude's sister is there, but she's like, this dude needs to, like, chain himself. It's like the caveat of this thing. It's a very strange movie, a very weird and contrived premise. But I ended up liking this one a good amount. It's got some, like, legitimately unsettling moments. I don't remember exactly, like, there's a shit with this mom who's a ghost, and there's, like, a weird little rabbit toy that people hold out in front of them that starts, like, hitting a drum if there's a ghostly presence nearby, and it's totally batshit. You know, I'm gonna put it at the top of B tier because I actually did like this movie quite a bit, and I would highly recommend checking it out if you get the chance. But it's not quite A tier material for me because I think it was just, there's some shit that's just, I'm just like, this is such a bizarre premise for a movie in not a great way. But I liked it. So, top of B tier for Caveat. Definitely check it out. All right, next we got Killing of a Sacred Deer, or The Killing of a Sacred Deer, which is a bizarre movie that's absolutely miserable. And so it's right up my alley, obviously. Now, this one's very artsy. It's very odd. It's everybody in the movie talks like they're a fucking corpse, and there's a lot of symbolism with that sort of a thing. But the general premise is it's about this, like, surgeon who ends up being very, I don't know, there's a kid who keeps coming to see this surgeon, and you're wondering what the hell's going on with this. I thought it was going to go one direction, and then it went a different direction that I was relieved about in a certain way, but then it ends up becoming its own horrific nonsense very quickly after. There's kind of a curse aspect of it. And it's interesting. It's very artsy and symbolic and fucked up. For me, it's a B tier, though. All right, it's not one of my favorites. I enjoyed it in a certain way, even though it's fucking miserable. It's not a fun watch. For me, it goes in B tier. It's kind of disturbing. All right, so there you go. All right, next we got the original Conjuring movie, which spawned the franchise that I have mixed feelings, well, not really mixed feelings about. We'll get into it. The original Conjuring movie, which I've only seen once, I think. And I remember when I saw it, I did not like it particularly well. I thought it was pretty boring. but people were ranting and raving about this movie. It's based, the entire series is based on quote-unquote real, exorcism things of Ed and Lorraine Warren, who were ghost hunters or something. And I'll get more into my problems with that later in the list, because I've seen every Conjuring movie. Not the spin-offs, but the mainline ones. And it was fine, all right? I remember I called it the Conj boring back then, because I'm a super creative individual, obviously, and I think of, very creative things to say about movies. So I called it the Conj boring because it was kind of boring, okay? So it's C tier for boring. It wasn't bad, it wasn't great though, so I was like, yeah, C tier sounds good. All right, this one is, what's this one called? They Come at Night, I think, or something like that. Which is a movie about like a disease and kind of a pandemic sort of a thing, and people trying to not let people in to their homes, and then they do let people into their home because they're trying to take care of them, and then there's drama that ensues. And I honestly don't remember a ton about the movie, but I remember I liked it pretty well, so I think it's a solid B tier entry. I don't think it was particularly good, particularly bad. I was like, yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Interesting enough concept. So there you go, B tier. All right, we got the Autopsy of Jane Doe, which is about people who work at a mortuary or morgue or something like that. It's probably the inspiration for that game, the mortuary assistant. But basically, they get to a body, which is a Jane Doe. They don't know where she came from, and they start doing an autopsy on her. So I guess it would be a mortuary, right? Or no, what's the shit where, I don't fucking know. Anyway, they're doing an autopsy on her to try to figure out what's going on, if we're like a police station. And there's a bunch of fucked up weird shit that starts going on, and they realize that she's not as dead as she appears to be. And this is a fun one. It's a fun one. If you get squeamish with kind of like medical horror stuff, maybe pass on this one, because there's some a few gnarlies. It doesn't get super gnarly, but it's a little bit gnarly. But it's a fun one. It's a good one. So I put that in B tier. Solid B tier horror movie. All right, next we got Eraserhead, which is a David Lynch movie, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm a David Lynch fanboy. And I think Eraserhead is a good one. I almost said a lot of fun. That is not the case. It's not a lot of fun. It's a very artsy, abstract kind of, symbolic nonsense movie in certain ways, but it also touches on a lot of topics that I find horrific, and it just is a miserable movie. And I think it's really well done. I think it's awesome. All right, I'm like I said, I'm a David Lynch fanboy. I'm a huge fan of like Mulholland Drive. I like some Twin Peaks. I like all that kind of stuff. This one, it's got some truly disturbing moments, in my opinion. And I don't know. I think the whole, like, if you really sit down and think about it, there's a lot of like grossness and grotesque shit and creepiness that comes from like thinking about families and pregnancies and fatherhood and motherhood and all that kind of stuff, and this one definitely leans into that and makes you sick to your stomach watching it. So A tier for me, very good, disturbing movie. All right, next we got Medium, which I think is a Taiwanese. It's either Thai or Taiwanese, I can't remember. Horror movie that I remember being pretty fucked up, and there's a part where if somebody cooks their own dog. No child should be made to do that. But it happens in this movie, and I watched it. I remember enjoying it. It's pretty fucked up, but I don't remember loving it. So it's going to go in B tier. I watched it on Discord with some friends. It was a good time. People were freaking out at the dog cooking moment, but there you go. It's a medium for you. All right, we got Possum, which I also watched on Discord with some friends, which was I think this was also an Irish movie, but it's about this guy who's like a puppeteer, and he has this creepy fucking puppet that he tries to get rid of, but it kind of torments him, and it's a metaphor for sexual abuse. So, just a fucking romp. It's just a, super happy movie, but it was pretty good. It was pretty good. I wasn't blown away by it. I thought that the puppet design is awesome. It looks horrifying. It's a fucking spider human head thing. So worth checking out if you want to be put in an absolutely horrible mood, because it's depressing as shit. So there you go. Possum goes in B tier. Next we got Dr. Sleep, which is, you know, it's the sequel to The Shining, directed by Mike Flanagan, who I'm just going to say right now, I mean, his shit isn't really on this list because he does mostly miniseries. I think he's overrated as fuck, alright? Sorry, I think that, I like The Haunting of Bly Manor pretty well. I thought that Midnight Mass was mad overrated. I was like, oh my god. I didn't like that show at all. I thought the concept was kind of cool and interesting, but it was bad, in my opinion. And then fucking The Midnight Club, dude, that was dog shit. Alright, so personally, I'm not a Mike Flanagan fan, and I know a lot of people think that he's like, you know, one of the best horror directors out there now. I don't really like his shit, okay? I just don't, it's not as fucked up as it needs to be. It needs to be a weird, fucked up movie, and this guy's making not... I don't know, I guess Dr. Sleep has some fucked up stuff, but honestly, like, besides the, you know, killing children part, which is a pretty big part of this movie, this almost made me feel like I was watching a Marvel movie in a weird way, which is a bizarre thing to say about this, but I was just like, there's all these, like, groups, you know, there's a bunch of these kind of energy vampire people, and then there's, like, this little girl who basically has psychic superpowers, because she has The Shining, and I'm like, what the fuck am I watching right now? I don't know. I wasn't super impressed with Dr. Sleep. I think it was a well enough made movie, but it's kind of just a C tier entry for me. I wasn't a huge fan. Alright, The Taking of Deborah Logan. I only remember the one scene, which is the only scene that anybody remembers, which is her unhinging her jaw and swallowing a child's head. For that reason alone, it will go in C tier, okay? Because I think it would be a D tier movie from what I remember. Good lord, having a stroke. Let me get a sip of this coffee. I think it would be a D tier movie from what I remember, but that scene alone, I think is really well done. As an old woman, unhinging her jaw like a snake and swallowing a girl from the head, that's kind of disturbing. So for that reason, you're in C tier. Okay, Taking of Deborah Logan. Alright, next we got Sinners, which is a movie I saw pretty recently, which is not a spooky style horror movie, but it's kind of a fun vampire movie that has a lot of social commentary about culture and cultural appropriation. And I thought this was awesome. I thought this was a great movie. A lot of cool moments, very enjoyable. It's not like, you know, I don't really consider this like a Halloween time movie. This is kind of just a whenever you feel like watching it movie, but it was great. It was a great movie, really well done. I'll put it in A tier. It's fun, it's interesting, you know, there's some thought-provoking aspects about it, about, you know, letting people into a culture, you know, and appropriation versus celebrating, and I don't know, there's a lot to think about and chew on with this movie, and it's good to watch. Alright, it's a good watch. Alright, next I saw Weapons recently, which I liked. I liked it. I may think that it's a little bit overrated. A tad overrated. It's another Zach Krieger movie. It's kind of a movie about grief. It touches on a lot of different kind of subjects. Like there's kind of an obvious school shooting connection, and you know, kind of the how people cope with that sort of a thing, and looking for explanations, and it was a fun one. It was good. It was definitely good, but I for me personally, I don't know if I'd quite put it in A tier, honestly. I mean, I might, I don't know. It's on the border of A and B for me, but I think I'll put it at high B tier, personally. I liked it. I had a good time watching it. I don't think it's quite like one of my favorites. You know, and honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, I kind of feel the same way about Barbarian. I don't know, but the first time the first time I watched Barbarian, I enjoyed it so much. So, you know, now I'm remembering. Barbarian's gonna go at bottom of A tier. Okay. I did like it, but it's not like one of the best in my opinion. All right, next we have the third Conjuring movie, which is The Devil Made Me Do It. And this is where I will kind of go off and crash out about the Conjuring series, because what the fuck was this movie, dude? All right, so this is based on... So here's the thing, I hadn't heard about this case until I saw this movie, and then I was like, wait a second, these are usually based off of, quote, real-life hauntings. But let me tell you the story of this one, okay? I don't remember the specifics, but basically some guy murders some other guy and basically gets let off of a life sentence, which he should have received, for killing somebody, because he claimed he was possessed by a demon. And it actually worked in a court of law, because Ed and Lorraine Warren played a part in this, I think, and he basically got a reduced sentence, like way reduced, and but he was just a fucking murderer. Okay, now of course I am not religious, so that's my interpretation of what happened. But basically in the movie, they make it seem like Ed and Lorraine Warren are the heroes, and that this guy was basically the murderer, was a victim, okay? And beyond that, the movie's dog shit anyway. It has to do with like a fucking mastered necromancer or some dog shit. For me personally, because it was so offensive to my morals, this is a fucking F-tier movie. Alright? Now, just based on, you know, everything else, it probably would have been D tier, but the fact that it's like based off of an actual event where somebody, it's making a murderer look like the victim, it's gotta go on F tier for me, personally. This fucking dog shit's right down there with Birdemic. Alright, fuck you. Anyway, moving on. Smile. I like Smile, okay? I thought it was fun. I thought it was a lot of fun. You know, it's not like my favorite movie, but like, I was expecting it to be trash, but I watched it and it was actually like, the jump scares are really good in this movie. And I'm a person who loves jump scares, you know? And I thought they were really well done. I was jumping around in my seat. I was like, ooh, you know, I was in the theater and I was having a good time with it. Yeah, I thought it was a fun one. The concept was interesting enough, and it was a good old get spooked in a movie theater sort of movie. So it's B tier from me. All right, next we got Lake Mungo, which is one that people on Twitter were ranting and raving about. It's kind of a mockumentary style thing about a girl who ended up going missing, and they found her body in a lake, I believe, hence the name. Maybe it wasn't, I don't know. I think that the name comes from the trip that she went on. I won't spoil it for you who haven't seen it, but there's kind of a weird twist in it that people find very horrifying that I found very underwhelming compared to what people were hyping it up to be. Personally, it didn't do much for me. I thought it was a little bit overrated. That being said, I think it was above average. I put it as a solid B tier. It's kind of got a Twin Peaks vibe, like you're trying to figure out what the hell's going on. It's like, it draws inspiration from some real life happenings, you know? But I liked it okay, but I thought it was mad overrated from what people online talk about with this movie. So for me, it'll go in like low B tier, almost on C tier, honestly. All right, next we got the original Friday the 13th, which if the original Halloween, where I put that was an indication, that goes straight into D tier for me, dude. I am sorry, man. I understand it was a super influential movie, you know, and Jason is an iconic horror movie villain, you know, but it's a snooze fest if you watch it now. I'm practically falling asleep when I watch this fucking movie. It's not good, in my opinion, anymore. I think that slasher movies have aged there's some of the most poorly aging horror movies out of the entire genre, all right? And I've heard the slasher movies I gotta watch now are the Terrifier movies. I've heard those are a lot of fun. I have not seen those yet, but maybe I'll watch that this Halloween season. But let me tell you, if you think that I'm crazy, try to sit down and watch Friday the 13th and tell me that you're having more fun than watching a modern horror movie like Smile, which I think almost accomplishes the same kind of a vibe where you're just kind of getting spooked with your friends. You'll get way more spooked from Smile, let me tell you. All right, so there you go. Another movie I saw on Discord with some friends, Puppet Master, which is it's a fun one in a certain way, but it is pretty bad, and so I will be putting that in D tier. Okay, it's I almost want to put it in C tier because it's just there's some parts of it that I do enjoy, and it's just so out there and weird and cheesy and stupid that I kind of enjoy it, but I really can't put it anywhere above D tier. It's not good. It's about basically like these living or possessed puppets that are killing this group of psychics. I don't know. I can't remember the full premise, and there's like a guy who's trying to, I think, live forever or something. But there you go. It's D tier. It's D tier. There you go. All right, now we got The Wailing, which is a Korean horror movie that is awesome. This is awesome. This is one of my favorites, and so I think I got to put it in S tier. This is a very long movie, but it's got some spooky moments. But more than anything, it's a fun watch. There's like even some comedy aspects of it, but not the whole thing is not a comedy. It's very tragic in a lot of ways. But it's a mystery that keeps you guessing as to what's going on. And you're kind of right along with the main character, who's just kind of this, like, bumbling oaf kind of a guy who's just stuck in a predicament. I've watched this several times, and I recommend it to everybody, and so I think I got to put an S tier because I think it's awesome. It's just a really, really solid, awesome kind of folk horror movie that keeps you guessing until the very end. And if you haven't watched this one, it's an absolute blast. Go ahead and put it on when you got like 2.5 hours to spare. It's great. All right, we got Videodrome next, which is a Cronenberg movie, which I saw a couple years ago for the first time, and I liked it. I like some body horror. I like some Cronenberg action. You know, the concept was interesting, like people kind of merging with technology, which was a lot of fun. But for me personally, it goes in B tier. Like I like the high B tier. I liked it a lot. Not quite among my favorites, but I did like it. I liked it quite a bit. I think Cronenberg's got an interesting style, and I respect it. I appreciate it. But yeah, it goes in B tier for me. All right, then we have When Evil Lurks, which is some kind of a Latin American horror movie that I saw a while ago with. I think I saw that on Discord as well with some friends. And this one was pretty good. It's about... I'm trying to remember what it was even about. I just remember liking it. It, like, had a... There were, like, kids involved. They were at this school, and there was kind of this, like, weird demonic disease thing. People were kind of, like, bloating and being trapped in beds and stuff. I remember it was good. So, it goes in B tier. I'll have to refresh my memory of what even happened in it, but I was like, yeah, it was a solid movie, so it goes in B tier. All right, next we got Rubber, which is a movie that I watched back with my buds in high school, which is about a killer car tire that rolls around and I think causes people's heads to explode, and there's this whole weird meta commentary aspect of it, of people, there's like people watching the movie in the movie at the setting of the movie, like watching it through binoculars, but they're commentating on it as if it's a movie. It feels like a fucking dream. I'm describing a dream to you right now. And I remember, I mean, I'd have to watch it again to try to see if maybe the meta commentary aspect was interesting, but I remember enjoying the stupid tire killing people thing. And the ending, there's a part at the ending that I thought was absolutely hilarious. But I think it goes in C tier, all right? Maybe I'll watch it again and I'll love it, but for me, it's a C tier horror movie. All right, next we got OG Hellraiser, which, like, so I think that there are certain aspects of the original Hellraiser that haven't aged super well, but the monster designs alone, and I think the concept of kind of this, like, hedonistic kind of pleasure and pain sort of a thing. And like the Cenobites, you know, Pinhead and Butterball and like the chattering guy, that's got to put it in B tier for me. All right, so there are things that make me want to put it in C tier, to be honest, because like I think that some of the story elements are kind of lacking, to be honest, at least in the movie. I know it's based off a Clive Barker story, and I like Clive Barker's work, but I don't know. I remember not being as impressed with it as I thought I would be, but the Cenobite designs alone are going to put it up in B tier for me. All right. This is Nope. All right. So Nope, I saw in theaters, and when I saw the movie, I left not liking it that well. I thought it wasn't that great, and then I kept thinking about it, and over time, I ended up liking it more and more and more to the point where I actually really enjoy it. So, for me, Nope, it goes in A tier, actually. There's definitely some parts of it that are odd, like the whole TMZ thing, and I don't know. There's a bunch of weird shit that happens in this movie, but like some of this shit that goes on. I mean, the fucking scene where it's night after the UFO is abducted sucked up all the people at the rodeo, basically, and then they hear them like screaming above, and then there's just kind of a crunch, and it all goes silent, and then the blood raining down on the farm. That's so sick, man. That scene stuck with me. That shit's crazy. All right, so Nope goes in A tier. I love that one. I thought it was a great movie, so definite A tier. All right, Nosferatu, the latest Robert Eggers movie, which I liked. I thought it was a B tier entry, in my opinion. High B tier. I liked it a lot. It's not one of my favorite Eggers movies. I thought, once again, Skarsgård did a good job. But me personally, it doesn't break up into the A tier quite, but it was definitely good. I enjoyed it. I thought it was really well done. But I thought it was like a pretty damn good movie, but I didn't love it. All right, so B tier. All right, next we got Rosemary's Baby, which I had to watch for a film class in college. And for me, it's B tier. I know it was, very influential and stuff, but maybe it's just because, like, the whole being impregnated with an evil being thing has been done to death since then. But I thought it hit mildly. I was like, all right, pretty fun, and then, well, not fun. It was kind of miserable. But I thought it was pretty good. I know it's, like, very critically acclaimed and stuff, and I probably should appreciate it more because I was taking a film class, and, they were talking about mise-en-scène and shit, but I remember liking it fine. I was like, yeah, it's pretty good. So it goes in B tier for me. All right, next we got, what is it called? Like, I don't know. It starts with a G. Something, the Haunted Asylum, which is kind of a mockumentary, like, found footage horror movie about live streamers who end up going into a haunted asylum. And I actually thought this was a lot of fun from what I remember. I enjoyed it a good amount. And so I'd probably put it in low B tier. I thought it was a fun concept. I thought it was executed relatively well, and I liked it. So low B tier for me. All right, next we got Incantation, which was a Netflix original, maybe, but it's a Taiwanese movie. Maybe it's not a Netflix original. I don't remember. But I saw it, and it's about this kind of religion, this interesting religion that worships this god that you're not exactly sure what's going on with it. I won't spoil it. And it's got an interesting premise. I like this one a good amount. For me, it goes in B tier, though. High B tier. Maybe I need like a one between B and A. I don't know. But I like this one pretty well. I didn't think it was amazing, but I did enjoy it. All right, next we got Paranormal Activity, The Marked Ones, which I saw at a girl's house who I was, trying to get jiggy with, and she loved this movie and she wanted to show it to me, and it was absolute fucking dog shit. Okay? And it made me judge this person, and, you know, things didn't end up working out. I wouldn't say it's all because of Paranormal Activity, the marked ones, but that played a role. That played a role. And, my God, this was a steaming pile of shit. Okay? It's, I've only seen 2 Paranormal Activity movies. It was the original one, and then the marked ones, and this was so fucking stupid, and I hated it. And it goes in F tier. It's straight trash. Okay? So there you go. That's where you belong. Sorry if you're watching it, that girl. She's probably not. I can't imagine that anybody I know is going to be sticking around to this timestamp anyway. So, there you go. Next we got Paranormal Activity, the OG, which I saw in theaters, and, you know, that one, it hit pretty well in the theaters at the time. It was kind of the thing that kicked off the whole digital found footage craze. I mean, obviously there's the Blair Witch, but this was kind of the new wave of kind of internet found footage horror, right? I think it was a very influential in that regard, but I can tell you that has since been done to death, and so if you revisit this movie now, it is an absolute C-tier experience. There's not a whole lot that goes on. I don't think there's enough kind of interesting stuff going on outside of, you know, there's not enough interesting shit going on in the movie that makes it age better, like the Blair Witch, you know? And so in my opinion, I'd say the viewing experience today is C-tier. Back then it was probably pretty B-tier, or maybe even A-tier for some people, but for me personally, C-tier, okay? Alright, next we got Pearl, which I like pretty well. It's B-tier. I thought it was pretty good. So it's the second movie in the 3-part kind of mini franchise. There's like X, Pearl, and then whatever the other one was that I haven't seen. And so Pearl was pretty good. It's got Mia Goth, and she is like a homicidal Southern belle kind of a woman who wants to get into show business, but she's not good enough, and so she just decides to start killing people or something. But it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. It's a fun one. Now, here we go. So we've already ranked Army of Darkness C tier. We've ranked the original Evil Dead B tier. Where does Evil Dead 2 go? It goes straight into S tier. This is the ultimate, in my opinion, the ultimate campy horror movie. This is the best of the best campy horror movie that you can find. It's so good. It's just the right balance, in my opinion, of campiness and actual fun horror stuff. This is the perfect movie to toss on in the background of like a Halloween party with your buds, because you can just kind of tune into it. You can tune out, and you can jump back in and have just as much fun. It's like, for me, this is like a quintessential Halloween movie. It is so much fun. It's great. Sam Raimi goofiness, but not taken to an extreme like an Army of Darkness. You know, still kind of has, I mean, it's got this kind of eldritch horror element of it, you know, like very like cheesy Lovecraft kind of shit going on. And it's so much fun, man. This is one of my favorite all-time horror movies. You know, you see a bunch of like kind of buzzkills up here, like shit that'll try to spook you actually and put you in a bad mood. This one is just so much fun that I simply have to put it in S tier, and it's one of my all-time favorite horror movies. Absolutely check it out. If you haven't seen it, I think it holds up. The like cinematography is a lot of fun. The way that the camera is like moving around, and like there's some stop motion stuff, and the prosthetics and the practical effects, and just, oh man, it's an absolute blast. It's kind of cartoony in certain ways. It's amazing. It's amazing. One of the absolute best. All right, best horror movies. All right, we're getting towards the end. Oh my God, it's been an hour, 43 minutes, but we're wrapping it up soon, hopefully. All right, next we got The Descent, which is a horror movie about women who go caving, which in of itself should be a horrifying concept, because let me tell you, the scariest shit that you can find on YouTube, by the way, are caving stories, all right? That shit spooks me out more than any horror movie, okay? But I think this movie is overrated, because I wish that they leaned way more into the claustrophobic nightmare that is caving, Whereas they kind of just went in with the whole generic, like, oh, there's monsters approach, you know? Hills have eyes kind of mutant thing, and I didn't really end up liking this one too much. It's not bad, but it's not that great, and I think for me personally, it's just C tier. I know a lot of people like this one quite a bit, but I just was like, nah, it's not doing anything for me. Alright, next we got Apostle, which I think this one is a Netflix original, and it's about people who are like on an island that there's like supernatural stuff going on. I don't remember the exact premise, but I remember liking this one pretty well. I didn't think it was amazing, but I liked it, and there were some interesting parts. I think somebody's head gets cored like an apple, which is a lot of fun with the fucking drill. So it's worth checking out. It was interesting. It was there were memorable visuals for sure. So it goes in B tier for me, but it wasn't like amazing. So there you go. Poltergeist I saw a long time ago. I mean, it's kind of a classic, but it's not really that spooky, you know, but there's definitely some interesting things going on with it. I think this was a Spielberg movie, right? For me, it goes in B tier, to be honest. I know a lot of people love Poltergeist, but like just as a horror movie fan, I think it's just fine, you know. I thought it was good, pretty good. So there you go. Goes in B tier for me. All right, next, what is this one? This is Pontypool. Now, this is one that I saw. This is a weird one, okay? Very weird one. It's, I saw this because somebody recommended it on Twitter, and I watched it, and it's very strange. It's kind of a virus movie, but it's not a, like, medical virus. It's like a mnemonic virus, or whatever you want to call it. Like a... It's like a yapping disease, which is something that I have for sure. But it's like there's basically certain words in language that start making people go and turn into these babbling weirdos, you know, homicidal maniacs when they say certain words. It's like some kind of a strange disease has latched onto the human language, which is a very interesting and weird concept, and it's kind of centers around a radio talk show. And I liked it, but it's very odd. There are certain parts of it where I was like, what the fuck is this? You know? But it was interesting and it's memorable, and so I'm going to put it in B tier. It wasn't great, but it was an interesting enough idea and unique enough idea that I enjoyed it, and I'd recommend watching it. It's an interesting one. All right, next we got Presence, which is a movie that came out recently. I heard about this through Red Letter Media, I believe, which is kind of a haunting movie that takes place... Like, the perspective of the movie is from this presence that's in this house. So it's basically a haunting movie, but it's all from the perspective of the ghost. And you're wondering, like, what's going on? You know, it's kind of presented in this interesting order that isn't strictly chronological. I like this one a lot. I thought it was really good. I didn't love it, but I thought it was definitely, you know, like a high B-tier movie. Definitely worth checking out. It was pretty low budget, but it's got an interesting concept. It's well done, you know? It's kind of a mystery. You're trying to figure out exactly what's going on with this family and why this presence is doing the thing that's doing, you know, because it seems to have kind of an affinity for one particular character, which makes the entire... I don't know, just watch it. It's a good one. It's a good one. All right, next we got Prometheus, which is the, I guess, prequel to Alien. Is a prequel, right? Or is it a sequel? I couldn't really tell you. I can't remember. But it's by Ridley Scott, and it's part of the Alien franchise. And it basically has these people going to another planet and trying to discover this new life or something. I don't know. It's been a while, but it has this stuff about, like, these kind of Prometheans that were, like, these alien... The engineers that were these species that came to Earth and created life on Earth and stuff. And I don't know. It's got some interesting concepts in it. And I know it kind of got a bad rap, I think, when it came out. But it's actually pretty interesting. My dad actually really likes this movie. I'm kind of just, like, in the middle. I liked it. And I think the concepts are interesting. I like the idea of, like, like, one of the things you're trying to figure out, one of the kind of the mysteries, the unanswered, I think unanswered mysteries of the movie, is the fact that, like, the creators, the people who created life on Earth, want to destroy it in a certain way, and you don't exactly know why. And I think that's, like, an interesting concept, and just kind of the whole vibe of it. I remember there's a particularly disgusting part that's not for the squeamish. I call it the skill crane scene. Involves a C-section. I don't know, check it out. It's pretty good. Alright, next we got Red Dragon, which is a Hannibal movie, which I thought was okay. I remember it being okay. It has Ralph Fiennes in it, and he's like this, like, serial killer who's killing people and thinks he's like a god, basically. The Red Dragon in the flesh, and he's got this interesting tattoo, and it's like, do you see? You know, I remember it being fine. I don't think it was amazing. It was kind of B tier for me, but I enjoyed it. I liked it. All right, next we got Saint Maud, which is an A24 horror movie that's kind of a religious horror movie that, kind of like with Heretic, I thought this was mad overrated, but like way overrated. Like, I actively didn't like this movie that well, to be completely honest. I thought it was so predictable and on the nose with what it was talking about. Like, I don't know, for me, like, once again, you know, I was a Catholic, I became an atheist at a certain point, and it just kind of felt like just kind of blatant, in-your-face, like, not very poignant criticism of Catholicism, and I don't know, I didn't think it was that good. So, I'm putting it in D tier, actually, dude. I remembered actively disliking it. Me and my friend watched it. I was like, we both were like, what the fuck was that? You know? Anyway. Next we got Sauna, which is a movie my dad told me about, which is kind of like a Swedish folk horror movie kind of a thing. It's like, it takes place after the, it's like in, I think like the 1700s or something like that, but it takes place after like the war between Sweden and Russia or something like that, and they're trying to like stake out the new border between the nations or something like that, and they come upon a weird town that has this like entity or nearby. I'll have to rewatch it. I ended up liking this one quite a bit, actually. I think it's you know, not quite A tier material, but it's definitely B tier, and I thought it was good. It had kind of a creepy vibe that I enjoyed. Takes place in the woods, that knocks it up a few points for me, you know? Love a good woodsy horror movie, and yeah. All right, next we got Saw X, which at this date is the only Saw movie I've seen, which is kind of interesting. I saw this in theaters with some friends, and I'm not gonna lie, I got pretty queasy with this movie, having not seen any of the other Saw movies. There was one particular scene that just made me absolutely, like, nauseous, which was, a woman, like, having to cut her own leg off and having to fill a receptacle with bone marrow or some shit, dude. I was like, oh my god. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of C tier for me, to be honest. I'm not into the whole torture porn kind of a thing, TBH Fridays, so I don't really know exactly why I thought it was a good idea to watch this movie, but I think it got good reviews. But for me personally, it's C tier. I thoroughly did not enjoy watching this movie, and not in a way that I found interesting like other movies. I was just like, that's fucking disgusting, and I don't really want to see that again. And so I think it was well done in certain ways, but I thought it was stupid in certain ways too. It was kind of trying to make the Jigsaw into kind of a not tragic hero, but like not as much of a villain because he's getting conned by these people, and I'm just like, this dude is a fucking monster as well, though. I don't know. So it's always kind of the weird thing with the Saw movies, I feel like, even though I haven't really seen them, it kind of starts to turn into this weird, you know, Jigsaw as a principled killer kind of a thing, like a Dexter kind of scenario, but I didn't really like it, so there you go, C tier. Alright. We're in the final stretch, the last 3 rows of movies, my god. Okay, next we got Scream, which, you know, it's a classic, and for me personally, I like Scream a lot. I think the original Scream is an A-tier movie. It's kind of a parody on slashers in a certain way, but it is a slasher, and it's you know, a genuine slasher, but it's kind of like a mystery movie as well. You're trying to figure out who Ghostface is, you know? And it's really interesting. It's a lot of fun. And I think it's out of all of the kind of like older slasher movies, this one has aged very well. I think it's an enjoyable watch, even to this day, you know? It's not supernatural, which I think kind of, you know, the special effects don't really age it at all. I think it's a lot of fun. So Scream for me is an A-tier horror movie. It's great. Check it out. Now we have the Scream remake, which is the new one with like Jenna Ortega. I thought it was pretty good. It goes in B tier. I didn't think it was A tier. It's not as good as like the original Scream, but I enjoyed it. Don't remember the particulars about it, but I thought it was pretty good. So for me, it gets a B tier. Okay. Now, a long time ago, I saw the Silent Hill movie, which the only thing I remember about it was that a woman got her skin ripped off by Pyramid Head in front of a church or something. And I remember not liking it outside of that. Not that I really enjoyed that scene. Well, the scene was pretty cool, not gonna lie. But the movie overall did not wow me. So Silent Hill goes in D tier. Next we got Sinister, which is another D tier movie. Now I get Sinister and Insidious mixed up all the time. But this one is not as good as Insidious, which in of itself isn't even that good, okay? Sinister... It's like about a family that starts looking through older photos, I think, and they start seeing this entity popping up in, like, their old family media, you know? And, I mean, that's kind of a creepy concept, but overall, it's kind of a dog shit movie, and I wouldn't recommend watching it. Alright, next we got Skinamarink, which is an interesting movie that I have some... I don't know how to feel about it completely, because... I think I gotta put it in A tier, to be honest, but it's like nothing happens in this movie. But it also, like, I watched this movie home alone in the dark at night, and it genuinely unnerved me. Having seen, you know, 50 bazillion horror movies and video games and whatever, it's rare for something to actually get under my skin, and this one actually did. And I think for that reason, and it's stuck with me. You know, I think about this movie a good amount, and some of the kind of, some of the concepts are pretty horrifying in a certain way. And so even though it's a very slow burn and basically nothing happens, it's genuinely creepy and unsettling in a way that you haven't really seen in any other movies. So I'll put it in low A tier. It's on the borderline between A and B for me, but I think the impact that's had on my psyche puts it in A tier. Alright. Smile 2. Now, this is controversial because Smile 2, I think, was more critically acclaimed than Smile 1. I did not like it as well as the first Smile. I think it was still fine. And I think it was above average still, but was it really? I don't know. I didn't really care for this movie too much. For me personally, I'd put it at like the top of C tier. To be completely honest, like, this was kind of a letdown for me. I mean, I thought the original one was way more fun, and the second one was kind of more of a commentary kind of a thing, and I just think it kind of was a flop in that way. I wanted just kind of dumb, silly, you know, jump scare fest, which this one had some jump scares, but it just wasn't the same. I think it was more critically acclaimed because it had more to say, but, like, I was not watching Smile to hear what it had to say. This was kind of a commentary on celebrity culture and lifestyle, and honestly, I could give a fuck. Alright, so Smile 2 goes to the top of C tier for me personally. Alright, now, Stop Motion was a movie that I was very excited for by Robert Morgan, who's done a lot of, like, YouTube horror shorts that I like a lot. I did, like, The Cat with Hands, and he did Johnny Yeah, or whatever the hell that one is. It kind of has like a Lynchian vibe to it that's way more fucked up. I did not like stop motion as much as I wanted to. It was kind of a Mad God situation again. I loved the stop motion aspects of it, those parts of it, but overall I wasn't too impressed with it. I wanted to love this movie, but it just wasn't hitting right. So It's gonna go in low B tier for me. I still think it was above average, and it was interesting, and the stop motion parts made it great. Like, really, those parts were great. But the rest of it, I was like, I don't know. I could take it or leave it. So, goes in low B tier for me, unfortunately. All right, well, now we got both Suspirias. Let me start with the original Suspiria, which is by Dario Argento, which I absolutely love this movie. I think it's great. Now, the story is very much lacking, okay? And, you know, it's pretty bare bones, all right? But the fucking sets and the way it's shot, something about it, I mean, it's like a fucking painting, man. It's, I love it. It's so cool looking. It's so cool to look at. Like, just don't care about the story too much, you know, it's simple enough that you can keep up with it, you know? It feels like a fucking nightmare, you know? But, like, I love it. I was blown away by it, because I actually saw the Amazon version of Suspiria first, which I also liked. Okay. I didn't like as well as the actual original Suspiria, but it's like high B tier for me, the Amazon version of Suspiria. There's some shit that I don't like about it, alright? I thought the ending was fucking whack, alright? I'm not gonna lie. I think that, like, that scene could have been cool, but for me it was kind of a flop. It was way too over the top, in my opinion, for it to be impactful or something. I don't know. I was not a fan of it. So, the ending, but the part, like, with the contortion, you know, when the girl's dancing and the other one's kind of like cursed to do the same movements as the other girl, I thought that scene was amazing. So there's a lot to like about this one, the Amazon Prime version, but like the original one I like a lot better. I think it's just it's way cooler to look at. I appreciate the risks taken with this one, okay? Because they added way more story and kind of lore to it, and they made the they basically went with, like, kind of the opposite art style with this one. This is very brutalist and, like, kind of desaturated. This one is super colorful, and I really enjoy how colorful it looks. It looks like, I don't know, it's indescribable. It's absolutely beautiful movie. So check out, I'd say check out both Suspirias, but I'm more of a fan of the original. All right. All right, next we got Talk to Me, which came out a while ago, a couple years ago, I think, and I don't know, it was fine. I didn't particularly... It was kind of a weird drug allegory in certain ways, and grief metaphor. I don't know. It was fine. It didn't really particularly stick with me, but it was better than average. I remember it was like, oh yeah, that was pretty good. But I didn't really care for it too much. It was fine. Next we got The Black Phone, which has Ethan Hawke in it. There's going to be a new one coming out. I went and saw this with my friend, and he absolutely hated this movie, and I just thought it was okay. It goes into C tier for me. He hated it. I didn't particularly enjoy the child acting, you know? I thought that they were not so great, except for, like, the main kid, okay? And I don't know, but there were some parts of it that were kind of fun and interesting, and I enjoyed it. I don't think I'm going to watch the new one. The new one honestly looks like dog shit to me, but if it gets good reviews, maybe I'll go see it. But I wasn't blown away by it. I just put it in C tier personally. It was okay. All right, next we got The Black Coat's Daughter, which is one that somebody showed me on Discord, and I thought it was B tier. It was B tier. There's some interesting stuff going on with it. I've watched it twice because I went back and watched it later, and I like the vibe of it. Honestly, will put it up here. It kind of reminds, parts of it kind of give me the same vibe as Who is Lila, which is that weird kind of surrealist indie horror game that I enjoy that one a lot. But it's got a cool vibe. It's very cold, and it's got some interesting stuff going on, and so I enjoyed it. It's not one of my favorites, but it's definitely worth checking out. High B tier. It's interesting. It kind of has to do with Satan worship and kind of somebody being an outsider and, yeah, finding acceptance through Satan, which is a lot of fun. All right, next we got The Borderlands, not to be confused with Borderlands, which is, the game that got made into a movie. The Borderlands is like a found footage, like, I don't know, it's in Scotland or England or something, but It was fine. Honestly, I put it C tier. I thought the ending was kind of cool. I won't spoil it for you, but I'd heard good things about it. I watched it, and it was just okay for me. I was like, yeah, it's fine. The ending was interesting, but not interesting enough for me to honestly put it in B tier. It's good in the C tier, I think. All right, Cabin in the Woods. Cabin in the Woods is a lot. Jesus, I can't speak. Cabin in the Woods is a lot of fun. There we go. I've learned to speak again. Now I need to get more coffee. That's what happens when I start stuttering too much. I mean, it's been fucking 2 hours, man. I gotta drink some coffee. Cabin in the Woods. Great movie. I like this one a lot. It's a lot of fun. It's a good introductory movie for people who are just getting into horror because it's not that scary, but it's scary enough, you know? And it's funny, and it's interesting. It's got an interesting concept, plays on a lot of tropes in horror movies, and kind of makes fun of them, and I think it's great. I really like Cabin in the Woods. It's probably high B tier or low A tier for me. I'll probably put it in low A tier. I always enjoy watching this movie. I think it's campy in just the right way. It's not quite the best, campy movie. But I think for campy, fun horror movies, Cabin in the Woods, you can't really do too much better than that. Beyond Evil Dead 2, which is the GOAT. The GOAT. Or even, I like Late Night with the Devil better than the Cabin in the Woods. But I think it's A tier. Deserves A tier. I enjoy it. All right. I have to go piss, so I will be right back. I just drank coffee, an immediate pissing time. All right, BRB. All right, and we are back. Time to finish up this tier list here, and here we got the latest Conjuring movie, which I saw a couple weeks ago, and this movie is just fine. I mean, I was so bored with it that I almost want to put it in D tier, but I mean, honestly, it was fine. I don't know. It's like low C tier, bordering on D tier. It's just like, it's a fucking Conjuring movie. Who gives a fuck? You know what I'm talking about? It's like one of those movies, you know what you're getting into. If you like this kind of a thing, sure. Honestly, dude, no, it's D tier, man. It was so boring. The formula is so tired at this point that I was just like, I really couldn't give a fuck. This is really boring and annoying, and there you go. D tier. It's between. Fuck it, dude. Nah, I'll put it in C tier. I won't be that harsh on it. It was just fine. I'm not the biggest fan, but it wasn't terrible, so it was definitely better than Annabelle Comes Home. So there you go. All right, now we get The Conjuring 2, which is actually my favorite of the Conjuring movies. And I saw it in theaters, and I had a really good time watching it. We revisited it later, my friends and I, during Halloween, a few years ago. Did not hit anywhere near as hard, not in theaters, and after a bit of time. But it was still pretty good. It's definitely, in my opinion, it's the best Conjuring movie. I think a lot of people would say the first one is. I'll have to rewatch that one. But number 2, I had a lot more fun watching, and so I'll put it in low B tier. All right? Conjuring 2 is fine. Okay? The Deep House. All right, I watched this on Amazon Prime. It's a movie about, basically there's like a really deep lake that these scuba divers want to go investigate. And they go down and they find this kind of like perfectly preserved house underwater, which I thought the concept sounded awesome. I was like, holy shit, that sounds really cool. And initially it was pretty cool, but when the horror elements started getting incorporated, they really kind of fell flat. Like, the concept was sick, but the execution really fell off. So I'm gonna have to put it in C tier, probably high C tier, because I appreciate the risk, but it was just like, there's basically no tension. I mean, shit is slower in water, you know? And so by the end of the movie, I'm like, okay, I think I get it, you know? And the ending was just kind of like, okay, yeah, I could have seen that coming. I'd say it's worth checking out, and I wish that somebody would take this concept and do it better than they did in the movie, because I think it's such a cool idea, you know? I think it was just a little too ambitious for what they could do, so there you go. Alright, now we have The Endless, which I might catch some flack for as well, because I just thought this was like, okay. Okay, there's actually some shit that I remember actively disliking about this movie. It's like a kind of a weird time loop movie. There's like an area that if you go into it, I don't know, people are getting like stuck in these time loops and stuff, which I think is like, it's an interesting concept and it can be kind of horrifying, you know, and I think that's kind of the thing that people took away from it, but I remember hating the characters. But I think the concept was interesting enough that I'll put it in C tier, even though I kind of want to put it in D tier. And I know a lot of people like this movie, I just didn't hit for me, okay? Alright, now we got The Exorcist III. So I put the original Exorcist in A tier, which, you know, once again will probably rustle some feathers there, but, you know, I think it was great, I just doesn't hit the same as it did back in the day. I liked The Exorcist III pretty well, actually. I thought that the performances were really good. There's some pretty spooky moments, you know? I'm gonna put it in high B tier, TBH. Alright, I liked the Exorcist III, okay? I thought it was cool. And I liked the performance from the guy who, you know, so it's like there's the possessed person who's kind of shifting between the father from the first movie, and then he turns into another guy who puts on a really good performance that I forgot what his name is, but I don't know, worth checking out. Check out The Exorcist 3. Don't check out The Exorcist 2. I heard it's terrible. So Exorcist and then Exorcist 3, and then I think you're good. Okay. Alright, and then we got The First Omen, which I mentioned earlier, came out about the exact same time as Immaculate, which is interesting because they're kind of the same movie. It's just that The First Omen, in my opinion, is significantly better. It's not quite A-tier material, but I like this one quite a bit. I think that I didn't like the whole Vatican science kind of a thing, you know, bringing about the Antichrist sort of bullshit, TBH, but this one had some legitimately good scares and disturbing moments, and I thought it was a really good movie. Once again, not quite good enough to be A-tier necessarily, but definitely worth checking out. So, high B-tier. Alright, next we got the... is my phone going off? I don't know. I'm on edge now that I got the Google jump scare. Alright, now we got the house that Jack built, which is a Von Troyer movie, and I saw it, and it's very hard to watch. It's a very fucked up movie about a guy who's building a house out of the corpses of people that he's killing. I think that I tried to watch it twice. The first time I stopped watching at a scene where he's hunting a family with a rifle of, like, you know, with kids and shit. I was like, oh my fucking god, I don't want to watch this right now. And then I went back and I finished it, and I think it's an interesting movie. It's kind of a vile movie, TBH, but I did appreciate it, and so for that reason it's going to go into like mid B tier, okay? The house that Jack built is definitely worth checking out. It's disturbing on, you know, certain levels. It's not a spooky movie, it's just like, ugh, this is just a vile, deplorable movie. So, I don't know if I'd recommend it, but there you go. If that sounds interesting to you, go ahead and check it out. Alright, we got The Invisible Man, which is the final movie that I saw in movie theaters before the pandemic happened, actually. I remember my friend and I went and saw it, and there was nobody in the theater, which we thought was funny, and because we didn't realize how big of a deal COVID would be. So there you go. I remember liking this one fine, so I'd put it in like low B tier. It's not a very memorable movie, but I did enjoy kind of them playing around with, like, you're not really sure if it's a psychological movie or if it's like an actual science fiction kind of a movie, and it plays around with, like, you know, relationship stuff and stalkers, and yeah, I like this one. All right, the next one is The Invitation, which is a movie I ended up liking a lot, actually. It's about this couple that end up going to a dinner party with friends that they have kind of like fallen out of touch with for years, I believe. And part of it has to do with the fact that, like, the woman in this couple that's hosting the dinner party is this other guy's ex, right? And they show up, and there's a bunch of culty shit that's going on. I actually really enjoyed this movie. I don't know if I can put it up here with some of my all-time faves, but it's definitely high B tier, I think. High B tier, really good. It's a really fun movie. I enjoyed this one quite a bit. So check it out, The Invitation. It's not like, super spooky or anything, but I had a lot of fun with this one. All right, next we got Silence of the Lambs, which, that's an S tier movie right there, okay? It's a classic for a reason. Jodie Foster, Anthony Hopkins, incredible performances. The guy who plays Buffalo Bill does a great job. Also, he's like you remember that show Monk? He's like the boss in that show, which is interesting. But they all do a great job. It's a disturbing movie, it's got disturbing concepts, somebody making a skin suit out of women that he's abducting, and it's really well done. So I think it's an all-time classic. Absolutely check it out if you have not seen Silence of the Lambs. But you probably have. But if you haven't, get on it. All right, next we got The Substance, a movie that came out pretty recently, and I think this is an A-tier horror movie. It's pretty disturbing in certain ways. It's like a good body horror movie. It's got some interesting commentary on... I was talking shit about, commentary on celebrity lifestyle earlier, but this one is more about, aging and our relationship with aging and how we come to terms with that sort of a thing, and how some people try to... it has hedonism shit as well. I think The Substance was great. I think it's an A-tier horror movie. Definitely worth checking out. Soundtrack's really good too. I like it. And it's cool. Check it out. And then we got The Thing. John Carpenter's The Thing, which I think this is another S-tier movie. We got some bangers at the end here. The Thing is awesome. I love the practical effects. They're so much fun, and there's always the story that people talk about how it was just one guy who was really new to the game, and he ended up killing it with The Thing. I think this is an all-time classic horror movie. It's super fun to watch. The entire time you're trying to figure out who The Thing is, obviously. So there's kind of this paranoia aspect, and then it's just awesome seeing the practical effects, and it's a classic. It's a classic. So, I put John Carpenter's Halloween in C tier, but I atoned for my sins by putting The Thing in S tier where it belongs. So, there you go. All right, next we got The Tunnel, which I saw, and I barely remember it. It's people who are going into an abandoned... I don't know if it was subway tunnels or if they're in the catacombs or some shit. I don't know. They're underground somewhere, and there's a spooky monster, and it's a fine movie. C tier. I don't remember much. All right, now we got the original Wicker Man, not the Nicolas Cage version, which I have not seen, but I've seen enough of it to know that I don't really want to see it. And the original Wicker Man, another S-tier horror movie. This is one of my all-time favorites. It's a folk horror classic. You can definitely tell Midsommar was influenced by it, but it is amazing. It is great to watch. It holds up today. It's about, this detective who ends up going to this island because there's a report about a missing child. And he ends up showing up and everybody's acting like they don't know who she is. And it's kind of this weird cult thing. And there's a mystery about it. You're trying to figure out what's going on. And then there's twists and turns in the mystery. And there's all these weird people doing all sorts of, strange rituals and things. And, it's awesome. It's one of my all-time favorites. It would honestly it goes right there. It might be my second favorite horror movie. It's great. It's not, super spooky, but it's just it's awesome. Check it out for sure. I think it might be on Amazon Prime right now. I can't remember. All right, then we got The Vivitch. And we got some bangers we got a backloaded lineup here, all right? The Vivitch, which is another Robert Eggers movie, which I liked quite a bit more than Nosferatu, and it goes in A tier. Now, this is it's not quite S tier, but it's my second favorite Eggers movie. The Lighthouse is my favorite, but I wouldn't quite consider that a horror movie. The Witch is definitely a horror movie, and it's absolutely miserable. I saw it in theaters, and the main takeaway that I had from the movie was how miserable it would have been to live back in Puritan times. My God, I'm so happy whenever I watch this movie that I live today and not back then. And there's so many layers to it. It's basically this isolated family that has no choice, but to live together, and there's like cracks forming, and there's weird, uncomfortable shit going on, and then, a child goes missing, and yada, yada, yada. It's very, very good. I liked it a lot. It's miserable, though, so be prepared to be put into a bad mood. All right. Next, we got The Babadook, which was pretty good. It was pretty good. A lot of people really like this movie. I just put it high B tier. Not even high, mid B tier, to be honest. It's good. It's one of those kind of allegory movies, where it's like a metaphor for fucking, It's basically about this mom who's has a difficult to take care of child. That's an understatement. He's a little shit, okay? But she's a single mom, and things are falling apart. There's kind of... She lashes out at the kid and I think physically abuses him at certain points in time. And then this entity called the Babadook ends up showing up, and they're reading a book. And I don't know, basically, like, I liked it fine. I thought it was good. It's a heavy-handed allegory for, abuse themes and dealing with trauma and things like that. I don't know. I liked it okay. I think that one of the things that took me out of it, to be honest, they use like fucking dinosaur sound effects for the Babadook, and I was like, all right. So I don't know. A lot of people really like this one. I thought it was pretty good, but not amazing. So there you go. All right, then we got The Boy, which is a straight D tier classic. Somebody showed this to me, and it was not very good. It wasn't the worst thing. I think it was like, it's about this person who gets hired to take care of like a mansion or something, and they're acting like this doll is like living and she needs to take care of it. And then there's a twist, and it wasn't very good. So there you go. D tier. The Collector is a movie that I hardly remember, but I watched it with some people, and I remember that, and I remember it not being good. So there you go. D tier. All right, then we got The Ring, the American version of The Ring, which I'll put in B tier from what I remember. I remember there being a lot of things that I don't think aged well about this, but one thing that did age well is I think that the cursed videotape in the movie is very cool still, and I enjoy it. And so I put it in B tier for that reason. We're in the final stretch, ladies and gentlemen. All right, and we got Train to Busan, which I'm not a huge zombie movie person usually, but this is a certified banger that goes into A tier, okay? Train to Busan is my favorite zombie movie, for sure. It's emotionally impactful, there's a lot going on, and it's kind of devastating in a certain way, and it's definitely worth checking out. So check that one out, it's awesome, it's great. All right, next we got Triangle, which is a weird kind of thriller movie that has to do with kind of a looping thing. But it's like these people come to a ship. I don't remember the exact context where they get to the ship, and then there's a bunch of weird shit that goes on. And it's kind of a time loop. And I remember this being above average, so I'll put it in B tier, but I don't remember a ton about it. But I did see it a long time ago. It was all right. So there you go, B tier. All right, we got Trick or Treat, which is kind of it's by the same guy who did Krampus, I think, and it's kind of a, quintessential, like, it's a very Halloween-y movie. I mean, as you can tell by the fucking title. But it leans super heavily into the Halloween stuff. A lot of people really like this movie a lot. I liked it a good amount. I would put it in B tier, though. I wouldn't put it in A tier, to be honest. But it was good, and it's fun to watch around Halloween time, but I just don't think it's quite as good as these ones, all right? Even not quite as good as some of the other ones in B tier, to be honest. It's very, like, Goosebumpsy, campy. It's fun, but I wasn't blown away by it. And then we got Tucker and Dale versus Evil, which is a, kind of a parody slasher horror movie that lands in B tier. It's funny, it's fun, It's cute. I enjoyed it, but it's not amazing. All right, now Us was another Jordan Peele movie that I liked okay. And it's probably my least favorite of the Jordan Peele movies, although I haven't seen Him that just came out. Although I think he just produced Him, so I'll be watching it at some point, assumedly. But anyway, Us, I thought was pretty good. Okay, I thought it was B tier, like low B tier, to be honest. There were things I just didn't really like about it. Like, I don't know, the way that they tried to balance the humor in this one just kind of fell flat with me. Like, with Get Out and Nope, it kind of fit with the subject matter. With Us, the way that it was presented, I was just like, what is the tonal whiplash was just kind of weird to me. Because this one is so much social commentary. I mean, Get Out is, obviously has a lot of social commentary, and so does Nope. But it's like the subject matter is a little bit more ridiculous. Whereas this one, it's like strictly like a commentary on, like, basically having two of the same people being put into two different environments and having one thrive and then seeing kind of the oppressed one obviously deteriorate, and then it's kind of like it's no wonder why they're fucked up, and because they lived in this horrible environment, and it's like I appreciated that, but then it would have shit where it's like they're killing these people and then like the kids are like bragging about how many of them they killed, and I'm just like, this just seems kind of tone deaf. That's like my takeaway from the comic scenes of that. And I don't know, I'll have to rewatch it at some point. I just remember leaving the theater kind of being like, that was odd. I didn't really enjoy it as much as the other Peele movies. So there you go. But maybe I'm wrong. All right, now I have seen the original VHS movie, and I don't remember it super well, but I remember it being like okay. Like, I think I like the format of it a lot, where it's just kind of a bunch of little horror shorts that are done by a bunch of different directors, I think that's cool. I don't remember any of them being particularly great, so I'll put it in C tier, but I like the concept, and I'll have to watch some of the other entries, All right, then we got X, which is like the original of the so it's X, Pearl, and then Maxine, I think. And I liked X pretty well. I'd put it in, B tier as well. It was pretty good. Not amazing, but pretty good. It has, follows this group that are trying to make a porn movie at Pearl's ranch, and then she starts murdering people or something. Yep. You're Next, I remember just being okay. It's like about, I think, a family that ends up hiring these people to try to kill people, and I don't know, to get money or something. It was fine. People are in animal masks. Whatever. Don't really care. And then finally, we end our list with a certified F-tier classic of Plan 9 from Outer Space, which, just like Birdemic, is completely a slog. It is annoying to watch. You're going to hate your life for watching it. It's boring bad, but maybe worth checking out just for the novelty of saying that I have seen Plan 9 from Outer Space. Yeah, it's terrible. So there you go. There is my tier list there of all of the horror movies that I can remember seeing at this moment, which is a lot. As you can see, I skew more new. I haven't really watched a bunch of the old classics. I haven't seen Hills Have Eyes. I haven't seen what is it? Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I haven't seen Leprechaun, even though I'm an Irishman. I'm betraying my bloodline by not seeing the Irish classic, of course, Leprechaun, So I haven't seen a lot of those, especially like the kind of the cheesy old, horror movies. So that's definitely a blind spot, but that's usually not the type of horror that I gravitate towards. But in any case, that's the tier list. I hope you guys, find some new movies you haven't seen that I'm recommending from up here. Even I would recommend pretty much everything in B tier as well. Just maybe not as much as like A tier and S tier. Like B tier, these are all movies I like, right? C tier, it's like, they're all fine. I wouldn't kind of recommend one way or the other watching these ones. These ones I would not recommend. These ones are pretty bad, IMO. So I'd say, B tier and up, check out C tier maybe if it sounds kind of interesting to you. Other than that, there you go. And I hope you all have a spooky season. This is going to be a long enough video as is, so I'm going to wrap it up here. But let me know what you guys think. Tell me how fucking wrong I am about Halloween's placement in the list, etc., etc. Tell me some of your favorite horror movies so I can check them out. Anything that I've missed seeing that you're like, how have you not seen this? It's amazing, you know? Let me know. I'm all ears. But without further ado, I'm going to say bye-bye to you. Bye-bye.